I love your background, Brandon. It's so intense that it's like, but my gut is like, that's a green screen, but I know it's not.
Yeah, you know what? The green screen works really well. Like there's no clipping at all. Like it's really kind of nice. But
yeah, you grab stuff right off the back.
You don't have a Dragunov back there, do you?
Yes, right up there. SVD.
Yeah.
Nice.
The Papa Shaw, is that Filato? The PPS?
Yeah, it's currently got a MP40 magazine magwell in it because I put it in for a video and I couldn't figure out how to get it out. It is stuck, so it's just it lives there now.
So Brandon, I'm a little mixed. Which is your left? Raise your right hand for me, would you?
Right hand.
Okay, right side, third one down.
That is a VSS Ventores.
Oh,
so the super quiet Tarkov boy, the 9x39.
I was just gonna say I used it in Tarkov. I didn't recognize it. Like
what is the absolute worst gun behind you? The one that like if you had to get in a conflict, you're like, fuck, not this one.
I'd rather have a knife.
Yeah.
Ew, Jesus. Well, probably the RPG because it's demilled. So that one that's not absurdly useful.
No, that's an impact RPG. You have to hit him.
Yeah, it's more of a bludgeon. You know, it's a big steel tube, so you'll still get some shit done.
What is the short one near that white plaque? Sort of diagonally.
The short one.
So there's a white plaque.
Yep.
Yeah, and then diagonal. Nope, just to the corner of it.
No,
or the other way.
That's the fun one, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the 1887 model 1887, and then just the
It's so like these video games are based on real guns.
It's crazy, right? They made the Terminator 2 gun in real life.
Dude, speaking of the RPG, that just made me think. A friend of mine, like 10, 11 years ago, was in Afghanistan. He was a Marine, and he had some very intense stories. And he was telling us one time when he has some drinks, he'll talk about it a bit. And one of the most traumatic things he said he saw was he was on patrol, like 20, 30 yards in between everyone as they're walking through. And he said that they started getting shot at and they saw like RPGs coming in. And he was like, there's no way to predict RPGs. Like you just don't really fucking know where it's going to go. And he said at the time, like they'd had an issue with like RPGs being shot at them and not exploding. Like they weren't blowing up, the insurgents, whoever was shooting.
Good problem to have.
Good problem to have. He told me 3 people in front of him, so like 90 yards in front of him, a RPG came in and it hit him. It didn't explode, but it hit him in the quad, and it like tore into his, basically destroyed his entire like quadricep, just ripping it apart, just mechanically. And he like, when he told me that, he's like, dude, like you can confirm this. Like this was a story. Like in the military, I was there for this.
Did he survive?
The guy did survive, if I recall. Yeah.
The best part of the story, though, is it didn't pass through his quad. It's stuck. Yeah. It's halfway in, halfway out of his leg.
One of my best friends was on that patrol. Yeah, he was there.
And those things have come with all kinds of different warheads, but it doesn't matter what kind of warhead it is when it's in your thigh. If it goes off, you
panic so much. Yeah, and like it doesn't even have to explode. Like once it's ripped your thigh out, do you know how much important shit is in your thigh? So much blood going through there. Like it's almost surprising he didn't.
I don't keep anything important in my thighs.
You don't?
Your pockets are.
Oh, that's true. My phone's near my thighs.
See, if it was your calf.
Didn't hit my phone. I can't look.
If it was your calf, it would have bounced off.
Right.
Yeah. Someone else would have got caught with the
Brandon knows the Lord.
I had a dummy RPG like that laying on the floor. And after that, I was in jail that night when I first got arrested. It's like 3-4 in the morning, and they come wake me up, and like you got to go through a whole thing to get out of your jail cell and into a room with normal people. There's shackles and shit, and door gates moving, and I finally get out there, and the feds are there, and they're like, "Hey, the RPG warhead in the floor, what's the deal with that?" I was like, "It's not real, it's rubber." He said, "Okay," turned around and left, and that was it. It was the most brief because they were just like looking into my room. It was the room where I used to record, that blue room. Yeah. It's just laying on the floor in there. But they were freaked out. They didn't want to mess with it.
It's amazing how many people...
like a piece of rubber, though.
That was true, I assume.
It's of not course, real. They didn't have a live warhead.
Like that'd be wildly out of character.
It would be wildly out of character. Like, I mean, that was my goal, was to make my own, right? That's why I wanted a Type 10 and FEL and like all the bits and bobs. But no, that was a chunk of rubber that I bought at Knob Creek.
Like shit.
I'm not afraid of
The
pain.
lead up
I'm
is
afraid of
terrible.
agony, right? Like I don't want to lay there rolling around, my guts are hanging out. I watch that Ukrainian shit, and I'm like, this is not for me. This is rough. You know, you see guys in agony over there on both sides, and it's not fun and
I
games.
see a drone drop a grenade on someone, and this is clearly a fatal hit. And then the next grenade just seems gratuitous. It just seems like
we brought two.
like, dude, did you have
Just a waste of money
twice? He was probably going to die. He definitely wasn't going to fight again. Why'd you nade him again?
When you watch people play games, like over a period of time, you start to recognize the meta, and then you watch it shift. In Tarkov, you'll see people using AKs, and then suddenly, M4s are back in vogue. You can watch that happening in Ukraine. There was a time when they were using like the Bog 17 grenades, and then you could tell that wasn't lethal enough, so they just put 2 of them on there. And then clearly they got this huge supply of like F1s as well. So now I see them dropping 2 of those at a time. And then recently I see like a whole new charge that might be just a Ukrainian-made drone bomb that they're making now. All sorts of stuff. Have
you seen that the shit about the Fanta bombs?
No, I haven't heard about that. Tell me.
I don't know what that is.
So I hope I'm not talking out of my ass here. Some of my buddies down here in Texas, they Texas Machine Gun Explosive Ordnance Co. They replicate a bunch of stuff. Like they replicated the Breaking Bad tortoise bomb with the head on it, Hello cool. DEA, like all that shit. This one that they did, it's basically like Anfos explosive or whatever, and with ball bearings around it in a Fanta soda bottle that is apparently like a Ukrainian improvised grenade. So they tested the effectiveness of that. And some of the shit that they're doing out there is just it's the necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah,
I guess they've just got what do they have in the center? What's initiating the
Fanta bomb?
The Fanta bomb? Yeah.
Something like I'm sure they're using all sorts of different stuff. Any kind of blasting or either det cord or I'm sure a grenade, like the cap of a grenade would do it just fine. There's still a charge in there. What is it?
Need something reliable. I was always scared of fuses. I don't know. Fusing techniques were always scary to me.
Same buddy of mine got fucked up because of a bad fuse on a grenade one time.
You trusted your life.
It fucked him. It got him. He got shrapnel to the legs and shit pretty bad. He was hospitalized, but it wasn't life threatening.
See, Taylor, you don't keep anything important in your thighs.
Whenever I would fuse detonating, the only thing I would trust for fuse detonating things was actual cannon fuse because I could see the shit. Yeah, and I knew how it worked. It's okay, I know how fast this burns. I know how much time I have. But anything else, especially anything that was recovered, we've disassembled something and put this together, I was just so scared of. Even the little blasting cap will just mutilate your hand. I don't want my hand. I never want my hands mutilated. I saw this video the other day, and I don't know, Venezuela or some shit.
Come on, Flipper.
This dude picks up what he thinks is a smoke bomb, but it was a fuse burning, and it looked like a quarter stick of dynamite went off in his hand, and it took off what he just said. He became fucking the Penguin. He lost multiple fingers, and when you lose them, it's not like a knife took them off. It's this hamburger that dangles, and there's bone attached and ligament and sinew and shit. And it's awful. And it must be the most painful thing, that kind of just smashing, tearing apart wound.
You got to stop watching stuff like this. So I was watching I really enjoyed, by the way, I saw a couple more though. The AR guy versus AK guy. It's like watching.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's like getting really into a subreddit on a niche hobby that you don't get yet. And after you get to page 3, you're like, I get the jokes. I get what's happening. I watched the first episode and I'm like, okay, I get it. So AR guys wear scarves and talk about stats, and AK guys are let's go shoot things for cheap and have fun. And this was just total impulse purchase thought. I just started looking right after watching that video. I'm like, what kind of AK could I buy if I really want an AK? And so I wanted to ask you, I don't have an AK. If I wanted to buy one, what kind? Where do I look? Treat it like I don't know a thing.
So American stuff is usually pretty shit. American, not American built stuff, but American fully made here. They cut a lot of corners. They do a lot of casting, a lot of just really dog shit manufacturing because they're like, oh, it's cheap Russian shit, whatever. The Russians and the Soviets took that shit very seriously. They have very high end forgings and it's very strong metal and everything. And not getting too technical, a lot of the overseas stuff, Arsenal, very good brand. Arsenal, Bulgaria, Saigas, all the Russian shit's really, really good. Then you get American shit, which is like, oh, it'll detonate after 2,000 rounds if you're using hot ammo. It's like, yeah, that's not awesome.
That's been. I bought an American AK. I didn't know any better.
Oh,
dude, I was like, ooh, it's an AK, but it's American. So
twice as good.
Yeah, I'm like double good. No, it's more like multiplying to negatives or something. I don't know. I think I fucked that. Let's say it's not like that at all.
I don't know. I was
opposite of multiplying two negatives.
Great students, so you're out of my take.
Maybe the Americans are positive.
I don't know. One negative.
But in any case, it sucks. It jammed all the time. I think I asked Kyle to look at it. He didn't have a solution. I'm not sure about that. I definitely took it to a gun store and was like, hey, this is like, do you want it as a trade-in? I hate this gun. And they're like, no.
You're an excellent salesman.
Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, good point. So anyway, my gun sucks. They suggested removing some piece of rubber to make it maybe better.
Oh no, you have an IO.
I do. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, honey.
Is that a really tough one to have?
Awful. I've actually toured their facility and they threatened to sue me after the video I made.
Really?
One of my earliest videos on YouTube. It's just awful.
Is there any way to make it not misfire?
You can send it to me. I can completely demill it and replace all of the parts and rebuild it, and then it might work correctly.
So he'll make you a new gun and send that new gun back.
We could probably save like the furniture and the trigger group.
I don't like the furniture.
Well, we could definitely save the trigger group and the screw.
Kyle gave me better furniture, and I decided that the AK wasn't worthy of the furniture. The furniture is like the wooden part for anyone who doesn't know guns. And I was like, man, I really like this. It's almost reddish purple, or I don't know, really appealed to my sense of style. I thought it was cool. But I'm like, this gun is not worthy of this outfit. You can't have it.
Yeah, I never got too much into AKs. Whenever we would buy AKs, it was always to convert them to full auto. So I just buy the cheapest Wasser 10 I could find and make a machine gun out of it. I never had those Wasser 10s would just go and go and go. I never had any issues with them.
You guys have me hoping for a Biden gun buyback program, right?
You have to explain that one a little bit.
He's not going to say.
I can't find an idiot to buy my gun, but maybe Joe Biden's that man, right? Maybe he'll buy my AK from me. Nobody else will.
I don't think he's going to go, we were doing a buyback and it's only for a shitty American AK.
It's an AK. You'd think they'd pay top dollar for that. It's got A right in the name.
Yeah, just wait for a local buyback. Wait till Chapel Hill's doing some sort of crazy, get these dangerous guns off the street. You're like, absolutely, $200 Best Buy gift card. Here you go.
Can you negotiate at a buyback?
I don't.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's how you negotiate at a buyback. You put up a picnic table right in front of the buyback and outbid them. Keep those guns on the street.
Doing a 501c3 and actually doing a gun safety whatever thing, and just putting up booths in front of buybacks. Like, what do you have there? Oh, World War II K98. Your grandfather had the. All right, well, they're giving you $100, 140.
Yes. That's the way to go. I would love to do that.
We even put up the paperwork. Our mission statement was to take guns out of the hands of people who didn't want them or didn't feel safe with them and put them into the hands of private collectors.
That sounds pretty friendly.
Yeah, I want to rephrase that to something that sounds worse.
That's the strategy I use, where I wait until Girl Scout cookies come to my neighborhood, and I'm faster than those little kids, so I run ahead of them with my own assortment of better store-bought cookies. I sell them. And
Wouldn't you rather have some double stuff Oreos, ma'am?
Get out of the way, Samantha. I'm getting the fucking cookie badge.
You can prove your theory that Girl Scout cookies suck and that they can't compete in the open market.
They're so fucking good. Those Samoas are a top tier fucking cookie.
Okay, but there are versions of Samoa that you can buy in the cookie aisle that are better than the Girl Scout cookies.
I've never found a Thin Mint alternative that's better than Thin Mints.
I mean, the free market realized that there's not enough incentive to even make Thin Mints without girls guilting you. There's no way to make it.
It's a monopoly, is what you're saying.
It's a guilt monopoly.
I had a dummy RPG like that laying on the floor, and after that, I was in jail that night when I first got arrested. It's 3-4 in the morning, and they come wake me up, and you got to go through a whole thing to get out of your jail cell and into a room with normal people. There's shackles and shit, and door gates moving, and I finally get out there, and the feds are there, and they're like, "Hey, the RPG warhead in the floor, what's the deal with that?" I was like, "It's not real, it's rubber." He said, "Okay," turned around and left, and that was it. It was the most brief because they were just like looking into my room. It was the room where I used to record, that blue room. Yeah. It's just laying on the floor in there. But they were freaked out. They didn't want to mess with it.
It's amazing
it
how
looked
many
like a piece of rubber, though.
That was true, I assume. It's
of
not
course, they didn't have a live warhead.
Oh, like that'd be wildly out of character.
It would be wildly out of character. Like, I mean, that was my goal, was to make my own, right? That's why I wanted a Type 10 and FEL and like all the bits and bobs. But no, that was a chunk of rubber that I bought at Knob Creek.
Yeah, it's amazing how much those people, like even in the ATF and whatnot, don't know about like the launchers and explosive side of things, or especially like the average person. So a buddy of mine was filming a music video, and he wanted me to help him out, and they basically had their own bit of like a nightclub cordoned off for filming his video. And he's like, "Could you bring your AT4?" I just, AT4, once you fire it's a tube. It's not gonna, you're not gonna be taken out.
AT4 is like an American RPG. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a good bit bigger tube, but you've probably seen it in Call of Duty and a bunch of other stuff. But I just bring the tube there, and it's very obviously an empty tube. But the people who owned the bar, or the club, or whatever, we asked for their permission, like, "Hey, we're going to be bringing this in. Everything's safe, blah blah blah." And they were like, "Yeah, that's cool. Just don't fire it." And I'm like, "Excuse me? you thought this was a? Oh no. This is a tube, ma'am." But they were.
So ended up they
were just gonna send it. They were like, "Oh yeah, just yeah, that's fine. Just keep it on safety."
Yeah, they were way cooler than you thought they'd be. They're like, "All right, promise us that you won't do this.
We're not
only shoot it towards windows."
Nah, he got us with the goddamn fingers crossed clause. He fired it right into the woods. Yeah, look better. Brandon, I wanted to ask you, because it's big news. You talked to the ATF directly.
Yeah.
That's incredible. How did that go, and what was the impetus of it? I want to know all about it.
So I got reached out to participate in a field hearing against the ATF. So basically, they just do that. Members of Congress will do these field hearings where they ask for expert witness testimony. In this case, it was like firearm shop owners who'd been shut down, and my goofy ass for some fucking reason. So they had me come down and talk to them, and it was your favorite congressman. It's Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene were there for the test. Yeah, the testimony.
Two winners.
Oh yeah. You know what? I'll take my friends where I can fucking get them, man.
Yeah, you got to be looking for allies in that room. You're like, Lindsey Graham, whatever, man, sure. Like, hop on board. But
it's like, you know what? There's a lot of stuff about certain things that they've done that just very performative, and whatnot.
Was it Marjorie? But was it her who had the campaign ad of her Tanner riding a car?
That sounds like something she would do.
It was either her or Lauren Boebert. Like, one of them for sure. Tanner riding a car with a Barrett. And
Lauren Boebert is much better. She's much more attractive.
It's insane to be. Yeah. Well, first of all, Lauren Boebert can get it. Yeah. But it was funny. The people on Twitter saying, like, as a brown man, Mr. Herrera, how did Miss Green treat you? I'm like a normal fucking person. Like, what the like? Just, it's kind of funny, like how much the propaganda. Like, we were told that she hates all Mexicans, and she won't even make eye contact.
Talk with her hands a lot.
That's
it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kyle. You were right.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
So they were asking you if she hated you because you have like a Mexican parent. Like,
yeah, like she was asking if like they were asking like, how did she treat you? Like a normal fucking person.
Well, she asked for landscaping tips.
She asked what my availability was on Thursday. The route the yard's getting a little rowdy.
She snapped at me when she wanted my attention. She snapped at me. Can you imagine how rude that would be?
She thought I was the green room person at first.
Yeah, it didn't help because you kept answering like, "See,
yes, Miss Green.
Yeah, definitely." No, like, yeah, I like God. I am a huge fan of God.
No.
No.
Mr. Gates noise here.
It's noisy. So that was. Were you intimidated at all talking to those bigwigs?
A little bit. It wasn't too bad. It was a prepared statement, so really it was just like, okay, can you read for 5 minutes without fucking it up, and then answer a couple of questions. So it wasn't too bad. It was pretty neat though. It's neat to have the opportunity to do something kind of more official like that instead of just bitching on the internet.
Well, you're doing more than rounding up to 100% of people like protecting gun rights. So hell yeah, 2 thumbs up there.
Yeah, I'm just going on side quests now. It's like, you do the YouTube thing for a while, and then it's like, okay, what the fuck else can I do now? Like, I just took a boxing match. It
was Brandon Herrera that invited me, and
he was on the show.
Then we went. Yeah, he's been on the show a few times, and I was talking to Harley leading up to. It was like right in the middle.
Brandon, come on, man!
You guys, 2 peas in a fucking pod.
That's my real name that he's got in there.
What's up, boss? How are you doing, man?
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you, brother.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, man.
It's awesome.
This is kind of it's bigger than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
A lot of people came.
I didn't know there'd be food trucks and vendors. My Uber driver dropped me off like a half mile up. He's like, I'm not going any further. And so then like I was like, I got out and went to a little tent like an awkward idiot. I was like, just stopped a guy in a white van with Ballistics Labs, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That guy. Ordnance Lab. And I was like, hey, can I ride with you? He's like, get on in.
Sean's a psychopath, so that makes sense.
I was like messaging Harley leading up to it because we hung out most of the time there in the same group. And you and Harley were like having your little tiff online. Yeah, you're having your totally real fight. And I was like, oh man, I really hope Dick is going to this. That would be fun to like meet Dick for real, chill with him. But I was like, I shouldn't DM him and be like, hey, are you going to this big get together thing?
Yeah,
and if you were like, I'm not invited, but I'd be like, then I'd have to say, oh, that sucks, bro, because I do not have the clout to just invite someone to this thing.
Oh, please, everyone knows that, Taylor. You don't have to say that.
Oh,
yeah, it goes without saying.
I'm just a jester. Just going there and dancing around. That shit was so fun though. You would have had fun shooting machine guns.
Nah,
shot
I don't
a Tommy gun. Shot an MP40.
Bunch of guys talking about guns. Fucking dumb. Looks stupid.
Brandon Herrera is really going to be in the U.S. House of Representatives.
I hope it looks like it. I hope he makes it. That'd be fucking sweet.
Taylor, I want to talk about the was there like constant machine gun firing going on? Was it that kind of shoot? Was it like always going on, or
what was
the deal?
Constant. Like it was like 15 big tables up near the shooting area, and there's like 8-10 feet deep of people waiting at all times to like get to their chance to shoot or like talk to someone. And there's like, I guess, custodians of these different tables who are handling like, okay, these are my guns, and like you shoot these. Yeah. And like I felt like a bitch when I was standing near the Barrett 50 cal. I was talking like Wendigoon and I hung out a good deal of the day, chatting, talking about life, having a good time. He's a great dude. And we were standing by the Barrett 50 cal, and I had in my head like a fucking Call of Duty retard. I was like, the Barrett 50 cal is like not that loud. It's like pretty quiet, like compared to the other one. So I bet that's not a big deal. And like, I guess it is if you're shooting it. But I was standing in like the cone of pressure where it like shoots out. Like I was standing there talking to Wendigoon and like jumped when it shot. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so much worse than I thought it would be. And like Isaiah knows a shit ton about guns. And he was like, oh yeah, like it's not that bad to shoot, but you and I are in the absolute mathematically worst place to be right now when they're shooting this. And so the guy with other than standing in front of it, and the Barrett 50 cal guy would go like, bang, 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 and like just shoot it off. And like I could feel like my organs moving a little bit from the pressure of that thing. It was like,
you didn't want to shoot that or try to finagle that somehow? Not really. Like
Have you shot a 50 cal before?
No, I've never shot a 50 cal. And so I should have taken my opportunity to. Yeah. But
so you're strong enough to wield it.
Loud.
That's the thing.
Yeah, if I did it, I would have held it. Like that would have been cool.
You could absolutely stand and like lean into that and dump a 10-round mag, no problem. I don't know what 50 cal costs now.
That thing was sweet.
Gotta be $5 or $6 a bullet, right?
I could get it way back then for like $2, but I was getting machine gun ammo that was linked together to go through a machine gun But it seemed like if I just wanted to buy okay rounds, it was going to be 5 anyway. Back then, I don't know. Maybe it's like plasma TVs and they've stabilized that market forever. But
they
I doubt
had a rocket launcher, but because it wasn't shooting like a real rocket, it was shooting like a dummy one that didn't explode. I wasn't that tempted to shoot it, so I didn't shoot that. Amir from Epic Mealtime, Harley's like cook guy, who's very cool. He was fun to hang out with. He shot it. I saw
was
Sam.
it shoulder?
Yeah,
shoulder fired. Was it like
shoulder mounted?
Green?
No, it was more like tannish and like silver. It had like
the one that like
white parts.
It's like a tube that like expands like this.
It probably did. Yeah, it wasn't like a gigantic one. I only saw
like that.
I saw Amir shoot it, and then I saw later Sam Hyde shot it. But other than that, it didn't seem like a huge draw because it's like, it's not going to blow up. You may as well shoot one of the cool guns.
So I'm guessing it's an M72 Law trainer.
I think that is what it is.
And I had a bunch of those little rockets, but they were expensive. Like it was hard to source them. There was only one guy that I knew of that had them, and they were a couple $100 a shot. But like you said, they're not all that fun to shoot unless you hit an explosive and make it blow up, because it's just there's a little explosive in there.
Yeah.
I shot one at the horizon one time, and I thought it was going to be like a bow and arrow, how it kind of arcs out and then it lands right there, and it just fucking kept going, dude. I don't know where it went.
Maybe next year if I go back, I'll try the rocket launcher then. But it didn't look that fun.
Did they have to pay? Because that's what I'm.
No, everything was like we just showed up and shot. They had like a barbecue truck there. Also, it was fucking fun. Like it was less a gun day and more like just hanging out. Like after the first 90 minutes, I was done shooting and then it's like, all right, am I gonna like struggle to talk to Wendigoon here in the blast of the 50 cal, or should we just walk 200 yards that way and like have a real conversation without foam in our ears?
Yeah, you can't have a conversation around those things without active ear protection.
Yeah. It was a ton of fun. That was so much fun. Like good get next year. I hope Dick Masterson's invited.
I don't want to go. Sounds stupid.
Right.
Blow up, waiting in line, talking to guys like a sewing circle.
Have you ever been to a machine gun shoot like the Knob Creek thing? Maybe.
I have not. Dick, have you?
That's only at like Vegas gun ranges.
Okay, so at Knob Creek, Kentucky, they have the world's biggest machine gun shoot every year, and it's, I don't know, a couple 100 yards of tables shooting downrange, and they have cars exploding downrange and shit, washing machines exploding, and all kind of targets set up, and it's every firearm known to man going at the same time, just fucking around for like 2 or 3 days. But they sell a lot of stuff. They have like an outdoor open air firearms market. So you could buy everything from like, there was an SS cap that I still regret not buying for like $800 or something. But then you can also buy like machine guns and firearms and ammo and all that shit, or at least last time I went.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely shoot machine guns again. That was fun. But it's like, I wouldn't want to do that all day.
What you want to do is go to one of those things with one of those dudes where they just go out in the field with like 3 or 4 people and shoot off a tailgate with one of those guys. That would be what's fun. Yeah. I have never liked those. All right, now it's your turn. Stand here, point that way. Don't pivot a bit. You'll terrify everybody. And yeah, plink at that. No, you can't tell that you're hitting it because everyone else is shooting it too. Blah. All right, you're done.
Dude, there were just as many like UFC guys and professional wrestlers as you would assume to be at an event like this. That guy, I didn't know who he was. Tim Kennedy. Do you know who that is?
Mm-hmm. Sure, he's been on the show.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, he flew in on like a helicopter and just like showed up in a helicopter, and I'm like, this guy must be like fucking a really good fighter. I was there. Shit, I didn't realize we'd ever talked to him.
Did he rappel or did he just land and get out?
He made his money hunting imaginary Nazis in Argentina on a TV show.
He found them.
Oh, I wouldn't say that to this guy's face. He's jacked.
Yeah, he where I trained, he was like the biggest, baddest dude around. So I guess people would come and roll with him because he like had something to do with Fort Bragg, and so it goes like this. My instructor would just toy with me and do anything he wanted to happen while I rolled with my instructor is what he chose to happen. Cool. And then there was his instructor, this black belt over him. He had that experience with that guy. That black belt could somehow toy with the guy that toyed with me. And then Tim Kennedy toyed with that guy. And my instructor would talk about what it was like to roll with him. And if you've ever been full mount, you kind of stand on your knees on the guy's belly. That's how you do it. Mm-hmm. This guy would sit on your belly and put his heels on the ground disrespectfully. Like he doesn't even have a good base, but you can't do anything about it because he's fucking.
I wouldn't have fought him.
He's had some. He did literally have that show that what he described. It's exactly that. He went to Argentina looking for maybe Hitler, not just Nazis. Like
okay,
Hitler. They thought he was going to be like 125.
Well, I don't think they expected to find him alive, but they were. I think they were trying to find him.
My name is Adolf Smith, and I am so tired.
Maybe the Nazis had like a youth formula, and he got the last dose, and he's 125 and kind of spry. And hey, the elections are coming up. All right,
I did see that in Captain America.
It could be a super serum of some
Red
kind.
Skull. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you got to meet Chuck
fun.
Liddell? Did you get to speak to Chuck, or did you get to hear Chuck speak? Is what I mean.
I got to say like hello to Chuck Liddell, and that was about it. Just took a quick picture with him and Harley, and then he was like back to shooting guns. And I don't know what I would have imagined. He's a very thick man, like a broad guy who would fuck you up if he wanted. He had the hands of someone who has punched so many things, like just those like big broad knuckles, like that have been forged on other people's jaws. Like that's what he did, right? He was a big striker, right? Wasn't a wrestler.
He actually was a wrestler.
Oh,
he that was his background before fighting, and somehow he used that wrestling base to never wrestle. People always had to look for his wrestling. Here's the deal. If you're afraid of my takedown, then you can't just defend my hands. You have to like keep your arms low and be ready for the takedown. So he would use that to his advantage and just punch people in the face all the time.
Yeah.
And he had the coolest name. He had the mohawk and the goatee, and he had those shorts.
That's what I was going to say.
Shorts.
He had these Iceman shorts, and I swear you could get a 6-year-old to draw Chuck Liddell, and by the shorts and the mohawk, like his branding was on. Sorry, and the goatee. You just knew what Chuck Liddell looked like, and he had this huge rivalry with Tito Ortiz, the Huntington Beach bad boy. Yeah. And I was a Chuck guy. I was all about Chuck, and Chuck won. He beat him twice. I don't know if he beat him twice and they fought twice, or he beat him 2 out of 3.
He had like a military quote on at this event.
So he beat him twice, and then they did this awful thing like 3 years ago where they drug poor. They brought this man out to fight a Tito Ortiz, who is still quite the professional athlete, and Chuck got some more concussions.
Yeah, they're about the same age chronologically.
Is he taller than you, Taylor? Like it's hard to tell from angles because Harley almost looks less gigantic.
Harley was squatting down, but Chuck and I were like the same height. I was on a little decline.
You look like you're about his size. You look stronger than him, way stronger.
He would beat the shit out of me. That fight would end when he tired.
Didn't Chuck fight it like? Didn't Chuck fight light heavyweight? Wasn't he light heavyweight?
Yeah, he
light
was
heavyweight.
205.
That's 205.
Yeah. Cut to.
What the? Was there not a 180 back then?
For Chuck?
What I'm saying is like I don't know. That man looks like
there was a 185. Rich Franklin was the champ at the time.
He couldn't make 185, I guess, Chuck.
I think he was too big.
Yeah. But that was fun. That guy Goldberg, I never watched professional wrestling, but he's way bigger than I imagined he would be. That guy's fucking enormous. Like,
was he the biggest person there?
He and Harley were probably the 2 largest people there, but like Harley like is lean. He's in good shape. Like he's not heavy at all. Like
I think my money would be on Goldberg though.
Oh, Goldberg, yeah, would fuck Harley's ass up. Which like shout out Harley. I know Dick, you and him are having a beef.
Having a big fight.
He was so much fucking fun to hang out with. Like spent
Are you
most
and Harley
of the
having
weekend.
an actual beef?
No.
Okay.
We'll see. That depends on Harley. That depends on what he has to say about Maddox's 3-hour documentary / hit piece on me.
It's a piece of genius.
Oh well, he's right then. If that's his opinion.
I'm just trying to be. I want to fight.
Have you seen?
Woody wants drama. Woody's like, Dick, hate me. I want some. I want some online beef. It's been too long. Shake the rust off. Get back in the fight.
I remember 2 incidents. One, just dumping like a giant belt out of a suppressed 300 blackout saw.
Yeah.
And it's just all going into my face. But we were shooting for G4 or whatever, that stupid like gaming TV channel. And we had to do this all in one rip. And I couldn't stop. And so it just fed that shit into my face for the whole belt. And tears were pouring down my face when I turned around because it's just going into my eyes. Yeah. That wasn't good. But then I mostly escaped this one. But when I was making that bowling ball mortar, the base of it needs to be heavy. And so we poured a lot of molten lead into the base of that upturned acetylene tank. And, the other end's chopped off to make the mortar. And we had this big kettle of molten lead cooking on a propane cooker. And somebody had to pour it in. And when you pour it in, it goes whoosh, and all that gas and vapor and, I don't know, lead goo is just coming out. And I was just like, oh God, this might be the most dangerous thing we've actually ever done. Yeah. Jeremy. Come here a minute.
We did one earlier this year, and it still hasn't fucking come out yet because we're just sometimes shit at that. But we shot 10,000 rounds from an AK in one day, which is way harder than it sounds because it is just so fucking tedious. Because we're also like, so we're getting obviously the lead exposure shooting 10,000 rounds in one day, and it was all me. So like my shoulder was destroyed. Wow. But we were full auto, just doing just mag after mag after mag. And then after like 300-400 rounds a piece, we would dunk it. So now you're getting the water that's taking that, lead with it, that's aerosolizing and everything. And then it started getting later in the day. So we were worried about, the neighboring properties and such. So we added a suppressor. Now that's getting dunked and blowing all that lead and shit back in your face. And after that, like I remember blowing my nose and it was black.
And I'm like, respirator for that.
I really should have, that was one of those like, Monday morning quarterback. I'm like, fuck, I should have done that. Because like my jacket too was covered in soot, like and just all sorts of nasty shit. So I'm like, yeah, I'm curious.
I did 5,000 rounds through a minigun with my Air Pro.
Oh Christ! Why, dude? Did you forget them?
Yeah, and once you start shooting, it's $1 a round. Can't stop halfway. We're filming. I linked that shit up, dude. I wasn't gonna stop.
Oh God, dude, I've done that accidentally with 50 cals. I was about to ask if you ever linked 5,000 rounds, but yeah, you have. I bet your mag reloads got better after 10,000 rounds. What's funny is I was doing the quick reloads where you just take the magazine and just hit them on the back, right? The rocking forward of the magazine apparently was hitting the handguard. And it happened so much that it carved a rut in the front lower handguard because it just the metal magazine kept smacking it. I was wondering, I'm like, what the fuck was hitting here? And then I realized it was just the reloads.
AK worked after 10,000. What was the accuracy like?
We didn't do an accuracy test after that. We still can. I still have the gun.
I'd love to know.
It was fine. We ended up calling it at like 6,900. Nice. But we oh God, I'm spoiling this video. Whatever the fuck. Whatever. But
I didn't know it was like I didn't know it was brand new.
No, we haven't released it yet. But yeah, we called it.
No, don't spoil anything. Go watch this video to find out what happens.
I don't know when this fucking thing's coming out, dude. But it was a good video, and we it should be a good video anyway. But I think it was just getting too hot, and we were just it would have kept going. Like we ran it through an ultrasonic, and like it runs fine now, but.
I said, I bet you've done something like this before, but I set out to shoot that tree down one time with a 12 gauge and then quickly realized that I'd set out to do something really hard. And it's like, man, I really have gotten ahead of myself. I'm 200 rounds in and man, this hurts. This hurts so, and I got 2 guys loading mags behind me and it's going as fast as I can. And it doesn't matter. It's just pounding the shit out of me, especially that piece of shit I was shooting.
What was it, if you remember?
Oh, it was this semi-automatic mag-fed shotgun that kind of looked like an old school M16 with.
Oh, so like the MK 1919 or something.
That's exactly
like that.
What it is. Yep.
Yeah.
I had I don't know if they They were custom made because they had like fucking laser engraving on them, but these 10-round mags for it. And I ended up painting it like all DeWalt colors, so it looked like a fucking DeWalt screw gun.
Yeah.
Dog bots with flame. Tell me more.
Zach, show them the dog bot with the flamethrower. You're gonna love this shit. This is what you're gonna be scared of when the cops like take control and they're taking guns from homes. They'll be walking down the street with a bunch of these dogs. They'll go in and they'll be like the seeker destroyers after the spider bots go in and look around and find.
Dude, Miller was right. Separating moms from babies was a half measure that was never going to work. We needed to drone strike them.
Isn't that what he said?
Yes, that was
that's going a step too far.
Well, that was the video we did with I Did a Thing where we were mounting. That's a Photoshop. That dog could not handle a fucking. We put machine guns on the back of the dog, like an MP5 and like a KP9, whatever. And the recoil is a little too much in full auto, but a flamethrower doesn't have recoil. Well, small ones still don't.
It's that out of the box.
Yeah, there's little electric ones.
Spot in government.
Were these dogs that you messed with, Brandon? Were they pretty impressive, or were you kind of like, oh, these are actually kind of shit?
They were so bad.
Really?
It was there was a constant struggle to get them to not immediately like do a backflip and kill themselves.
They just parkour to death. It's like, fuck, another 200
somehow managed to shoot itself, even though it clearly can't.
For example, feast your eyes on the muzzle climb right now. He is like fucking 30 degrees over the berm. Like this.
Yeah,
that's going to be a problem.
If the only thing I've ever seen, and I'm sure there's tons of cool stuff now, but like back in the day when I went to Jerry Baber's place, the guy that has the AA-12s, he had these little miniature tanks. They were like they had rubberized treads, and they could sort of, they could rotate 360 degrees and stuff. And we were just out there with remote controls, and he had an AA-12 on that thing upside down, so you could just slap the mag straight down into it. And something was weird with the controls, so we didn't bother filming it, because every time we would shoot, it would just go full auto and dump the whole mag. And it made it look so janky. But he was like, "This is the future, boy. This is what'll be killing them in the next 20 years. That and my drones." And he had these drones that had machine guns on them. He had AR pistols, like 2 or maybe 4 on a drone. He had all sorts of silly shit.
He's kind of like Tesla. He was seeing stuff before it was happening.
That guy can't be still alive.
Nikola Tesla? No, he's dead.
No, Jerry Baber.
Oh.
The thing that's crazy about the drone stuff too is that we were going to do a couple of videos. We were going to do one like the Ukrainian like drones, because I got a friend who's got his FEL and everything, so he's got hand grenades and whatever. But we were going to do the Ukrainian drone drop, and we were going to do one where they've got flamethrowers on a drone. I thought for sure that's easier legally speaking. No, as it turns out, anytime you put anything on a drone, as far as like weapons, flamethrowers, or anything like that, the FAA gets really mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a $25,000 fine.
Did you ever see Richard Ryan's video that he did like a decade ago?
No, but I've heard you talk about it.
He took it down, I think. We were at the time, we had this I don't know who was paying us, but some like movie video game company that we both got contracts, and him doing his drone video was endangering my contract. I was in a field being like, why did he do that? He made a drone that drops an explosive that I don't think it was LiDAR. It was it pings the ground as it falls so that it air bursts above the target. Like way more sophisticated than what we're doing. They're doing in Ukraine. This is like 10, 12 years ago or something.
It sounds like a Richard thing.
It was a drone dropped improvised explosive using, I think, plastic explosive, and it air detonates at like 6 or 12 feet or something. Whatever he wants it to. You can program it. It was crazy. He took it down, I think.
And that got you in trouble, or almost did?
They were like, "Oh, we don't know about paying YouTubers to make videos now." And it's like,
and you're like, "No, please."
Meanwhile, I'm in a field with like a bunch of mannequins dressed up as colonial soldiers or something, and an old timey cannon.
Yeah, like, did I shave my head for nothing?
Did I shave
You should have shaved your head instead of the bald cap.
They had a number from me in which I would have shaved my head, and they did not meet it. They got the bald cap number. Yeah. When I would pitch things, there'd be tiers, right? This gets you that. This gets you that. This gets you all of that. And like the final like number was, I'll just go ahead and shave. I think I was gonna get the tattoo. I think I said I'll shave the head, get the tattoo for this amount of money, and it the hair covers it up. No, it doesn't.
Does he have a tattoo on his head?
Yeah, well, not on his head, on the back of his neck. The Agent 47 or whatever from the
Oh,
Hitman.
I remember that. My only exposure to those games was your video. I've never
Literally me too.
played.
They hired me, and I'd never played one before. I had to go play a bunch of fucking video games.
You couldn't have just done like a fucking henna tattoo and say, "Yeah, no, I'm going to keep this here."
That's what we did.
Grow your hair back out.
That's what we did. We hired a guy that worked on The Walking Dead at the time. Walking Dead was big at the time, and he did. Oh, it is on the back of the head. Well, maybe it moves around throughout the series. I thought it was on the back of his neck.
When I googled it, somewhere on wrists and shit. I don't know if that's all game.
I think that was called the Twitty.
Oh,
Touche. Yeah.
Dude, one of the worst parts about going bald would be not knowing if you have a good head under it until it happens. Like, what if you've got like one of those Gorbachev wine birthmarks that you never knew about, and it's
Doesn't
like
the hair come out blonde from one of those stains?
No.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I remember his
bald.
His was,
I said no because Gorbachev's bald, but then I realized how stupid that is.
Yeah, I don't actually know if the hair comes out blonde from those, but if it is, then that's a good way to know if you have one. But that would be the worst part about going bald. It's like, oh no, I have a lumpy head with a bunch of like fucking bumps on it and a birthmark.
I got.
Well,
scars.
is it a cool scar?
I don't know. I haven't seen it since I was ever. It happened when I was 4. Like split my whole head open, not skull or anything, but the skin. I took a nosedive out of a shopping cart, and those things they hook stuff on at Walmart or any store, the little, that like rode my fucking head from front to back as I like headbutted the wall. I tipped the whole shopping cart into it. Yeah, it was a real mess. Also, took the side of the shopping cart, that sort of serrated edge, and it went between my gums and my lips and separated that all the way up to my nose.
Man, tough day at Walmart.
It was rough. I was 4.
I'm absurdly jealous of Kyle for getting into GunTube before everything needed to be a fucking clickbait thumbnail. Like every modern
I made sure there was fire.
What's up?
I made sure there was fire in the thumbnail. I feel like it was important. I didn't like clickbait, I guess. Like I wasn't above it necessarily. I'm sure I've done it. I'm sure I have. Oh, I remember my favorite clickbait thing I did. Right after Osama bin Laden was killed, I shot a poster of him. And I called the video Osama bin Laden like assassinated or something like that, or taken out by blah blah blah. And then I was able to ride the CNN wave, like catch on to their ship, and like lasso some of their views over. And it was just me in a field somewhere shooting pictures of Osama bin Laden. That's the clicky-baitiest thing I ever did for sure.
Yeah, but of all the millions of views that gets, if like 10% of the people who watch it are like, oh, well, this guy's kind of cool. Let me check out.
Yeah, he converts the people. Yeah.
But I mean, those were back in the golden days where like a picture of you holding 2 AA-12s like 25 million views, 50 million views. Like
does YouTube make it unbelievably hard on gun channels now?
It's give and take. It got really weird back in January of this year. I thought I was going to potentially lose my job because they had cracked down where they said that showing attachment of a suppressor would be a strike. And inserting a 30-round magazine is a strike because that is illegal weapons modification. And they said that there's no grandfathering. So that worked on all previous content. So 3 strikes and your channel's gone. I'm like, guys, you could delete my channel like 37 times over with that rule. So we were fighting YouTube on that, and thankfully we won. But I mean, it's not too bad. Like full auto gets you demonetized. The extended magazines gets you demonetized. A bunch of shit gets you demonetized. But it's all in all, it's not as bad as people think it is, but it's not great.
You should tag it CGI. That's CGI. Why are you hating on me? Do you do this to Corridor Digital? What is your problem?
These are all props. Do you think I've got guns?
Yeah. CGI shooting. That's what it can. Cool Guns International.
I don't like that meme. I like the picture. That one's not fun.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Yeah, that's not. This is not.
Is it a I don't carrying know in Call of Duty reference? That's how I.
The one I like that gets memed is me on the Bofors gun. And like it's like 3 frames. That one's always funny to me.
That's a good meme. And look at you on the meme.
I saw Joe Rogan watching you recently. Did you see that clip, Kyle? Did it get in front of you?
They thought it was again.
Somebody said, I love that. Somebody sent me that. He had the guy that I think the director of John Wick. I think he has a lot to do with the training in Gun Fu. Like he's into that stuff. And I think that he said that I think he had made a game that had Dragon's Breath shotgun in it. And Rogan was like, well, that's a real thing. And it's like, yeah, there's this crazy Russian guy that's got some on the internet. He, not just that, everything. He shoots little needles and all. And they like pull up my video of me with that stupid red and blue shotgun that I spray painted on my deck that night because I knew people would click it.
With your very Eastern European haircut.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, that's a good one. That's so for those of you younger than 35, that's a LimeWire emblem there.
Oh, shit.
LimeWire was a place where you download illegal music, and it would always corrupt your family's PC.
That's actually good. You pointed it out. I bet a lot of people didn't realize that was LimeWire.
Indeed. It's been a long time since I've seen that logo, but that's where I was on LimeWire all the time when I was a kid, just downloading I was like, they just turned. You got to imagine it would be like if all of a sudden, I mean, everything's piratable now, but that was new to me. It was they're like, hey Kyle, all that music is free now. What do you mean it's free? A CD's $20, and this is $20 of like 1997 money.
Yeah.
So it was crazy that music was free. I was grabbing it with both hands for no reason. Well, I might listen to that someday. Like I'm storing it. Like soon they'll make it illegal.
Yeah, and they did, but not
a lot of viruses.
LimeWire was such a downgrade from Napster. Napster was.
We obviously couldn't do it, but like they had asked about using or potentially using. I'm not gonna say like it was a sure thing, but potentially using an AK-50 in John Wick 4.
What's an AK-50?
That was kind of the weapon system I was developing. Still developing. One of those things we still have to go home and make the new prototypes. More of like a passion project right now, but like a 50 BMG. Think of like an AK and a Barrett together, right?
Very cool.
And they were wanting to use it. I'm like, I don't fucking have one, unfortunately, but I would love to see that. Like, no matter what scene you're planning in that fucking movie where John Wick is about to go kick ass with a fucking 50 cal, I'm on board as a viewer. I want to see that.
I like when they do a little research and they bring out some cool shit that I'm like, oh, he's got a desert tactical rifle there. Okay, all right, he's not fucking around. He got a little bullpup sniper. All right, cool. I usually like his handgun selection and stuff like that, but I do wish there was some more exotic shit in there because that's the kind of stuff that turns me on. Like if he brought out, I don't even know what he'd do with it, but if he had one of those Anzio Ironworks 20mm rifles.
Oh my god!
You ever shot one of those?
I haven't shot one yet. I've seen them, and I almost shot Richards the one time. We went out on the range, and he.
Oh, does Richard have a 20?
I think so. Well, he had it in the back of his van. I hope it was.
Holy fucking shit! Yeah, I didn't know he had one. They're like 17 grand.
That's not awful.
It's not awful, but it's not.
Well, it's not a concealed carry piece by any means.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like a Barrett M107 is like 14 grand. So I'm like, okay, for a 20, all right.
You get it for 10. Richard, I could have. They'll sell them to you for 10.
Gotcha.
But in any case, that Anzio Ironworks, for those who don't know, it's a 20mm bolt action rifle. 20mm, I'm pretty sure is what the F-18 fighter jet shoots as its like machine gun round. Like 50 cal is 12.7mm, and we're talking about 20mm and way more powder. Like the whole thing is like way bigger like weapon system.
Yeah, this is enormous. It's 6 feet 8 inches tall.
The different variants are different lengths. I could barely pick the goddamn thing up. You know, it's like 110 pounds, the one I was playing with.
Jesus.
And you know, it's not like a 110-pound barbell. It's a rifle, so it's balanced funny. And
heavy, so you can't just like stand like Call of Duty and just hold it out, you know.
I don't think I attempted that. I like it, but the barrel is super long, like it's above my head when I've got it sitting on its buttstock next to me. And I've shot 2 of them. I shot Anzio's down in Florida. His place burnt up. I don't know if you know that. Like his.
I heard about that.
Yeah, some people broke into his shop, his factory building, whatever you want to call it, and he had. I don't remember the exact amount of. Is it 25 Bradley? Is that the stuff?
I'm not sure.
The stuff that it's the Bradley fighting vehicle, whatever it shoots, it's 25mm or something like that. It's like this explosive chain gun shit. Anyway, he had, call it $3 million worth of that in his building. And so they break into his building, probably trying to steal guns or whatever they could lay their hands on. And then they realize they're on candid camera. Well, the DVR that's recording them is in a vault, like not just in a safe, it's in a vault. Yeah. And they just see wires going into like armor. And so they're like, well, guess we burn it to the ground. And so they burnt this place down. And of course, he doesn't have his ammunition insured. So it's like a $3 million loss on that that's unrecoverable. And then the building and every gun he owned, all of that's burnt to the ground. So at the time I was working with him, he only had like his show gun, the one he was like taking to SHOT Show. And so we shot that a little bit. But he didn't even have a scope anymore to mount on the thing, because I don't think a standard Leopold is going to stand up to the recoil. It's going to fucking shake the bitch apart. So I had to go up to like West Virginia to a guy who actually just had one and was friends with Anzio and shoot his. It was suppressed. And this guy, I don't remember his name, but he was an author. He had written many of the reloading manuals that I was like, I own your manuals. I was like, they're on a bookcase at my dad's house. Like
his name
we've
Robert?
been using this, huh?
Robert?
Oh, I wouldn't remember this guy's name at this point. West Virginia, mountain dwelling, scary guy. You know,
that narrows it down.
Older gunsmith who writes a lot of books.
Yeah, that would describe him pretty well. But I shot his 20 prone, and my shoulder clicked for 2.5 years. Like I've only shot 2 things that hurt, that actually hurt and kicked hard, and one of them was his 20 shooting it prone, because I'm not good at that, and I didn't have my shoulder on it properly, and my shoulder clicked for 2 years legitimately. When I would like just do something like this, it's click 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 click.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
Why'd you do it prone instead of sitting down?
He didn't have a table to put it on. Like we're just in his backyard shooting the thing. And again, it weighs like 100 and something pounds, even more loaded, and with a scope on it and everything.
It was something with recoil. It can actually come off the table pretty easily and just fall over.
It's a ton of recoil too. It's a gargantuan fucking gun.
Is it for anti-material stuff like armor piercing?
Yeah.
It's not meant to be a bolt action rifle. It's something that it's just a guy. Like it'd be like if one of us was just like, hey, what if we just made a gigantic bolt action rifle? Well, what bullet would we put in it? Well, what do fighter jets shoot? Let's put that in there. Like,
fighter jets shoot.
Yeah, that's literally what
Hellfires. What are you thinking?
Yeah, like it would.
It don't have to be like registered as a destructive device.
It's a DD. Yeah. And then the other thing that I shot that actually hurt was what's Bob's first name? Dangerous, I think.
Dangerous Bob.
Dangerous Bob. Do you know Dangerous Bob?
I don't. I know people who run into circles, but I have never met him yet.
Yeah, like Ira Sellers and all those guys.
Dangerous Bob.
That's what they call him.
Yeah, that's what they call him. You'll notice he's missing a little bit of one of his fingers because he blew it off depriming 50 BMG shells. And whenever I'd mess around with him, it seemed like his like favorite shit to play with was explosives and flamethrowers and big bore guns that he'd make himself. And I don't remember exactly what he'd done, but essentially what he had done was take like a 20 gauge single shot breakdown shotgun and make brass for it, and then load up big bore rifle shells for that. So he had like, I'm making up numbers here because I don't remember the specifics, but let's just say it was shooting a 900 grain bullet, 1600 feet per second or something like that, and a breakdown shotgun that weighs 2.5, 4 pounds, somewhere in there, this light ass fucking, like chest, like wooden stocked 20 gauge, like thing you'd see in a pawn shop somewhere for $100.
Something meant for a quarter of the recoil.
A tenth the recoil. It kicked so fucking hard. Every time I would shoot it, I would like, all right, well, can't flinch on camera. So I have to lean into this motherfucker and squeeze and just take it. And it's the equivalent of like telling some big professional boxer or something to like hit you in the chest as hard as they can, but you can't flinch or move. You just gotta be like, all right, do it while I try to look badass. And my shoulder was black and blue.
Hello, my friends. This is pretty intense.
I would lean so far into it, like my front knee would be bent like almost to the ground. Like all my weight, 95% of my weight is on my front foot. My back foot is just barely touching the ground, and it would rock me all the way back. It was awful. It was awful to shoot. I think I shot it 5 times.
What video was that?
I don't even know if we used the fucking footage. It was one of those days where we were in Tennessee, like messing with like a Bofors gun and a flamethrower and like some M240 Bravos. Where we shot like 5 things in a day, and it was the flamethrower video that I did where I like roasted a pig, and the pig had like little pipe bombs tied all over it. Oh no, that was the mannequin. They had a mannequin with little pipe bombs all over it, and then I roasted a pig and pretended to eat some of it. Yeah.
Wait, you pretended?
Yeah, I didn't cook a pig with napalm and then eat the napalm. I just put some ribs that I bought from a barbecue joint on the back of the pig.
You
Damn,
couldn't tell that?
Fourth wall. No, of course
Fucking gag.
Fourth wall destroyed.
Yeah. My childhood.
There are people who still believe he's Russian, so there are absolutely people who thought that he was pulling meat off of a flamethrower.
I mean, I made it look like I was. We had like a nice, delicious rack of ribs attached to the back of that roasted pig. But yeah, I wasn't going to eat pig I had cooked with napalm.
Yeah, it's not safe. Probably not.
Going back to the recoil thing, at one point I had, I really only had recoil fuck me up one time. And it was one of our 50 prototypes for the AK-50 had failed. So, semi-auto guns cycle a lot softer than just single shot guns. It failed. So the bolt seized. And so it basically was a single shot rifle. And I was leaned over. This was entirely my fault. I was leaned over really aggressively because I had the barrel on a 9-board. And it's just like resting there. So all the recoil is going to my shoulder. Had no recoil pad or whatever. Just had a PRS style buttstock with plastic on the back. Leaned super forward, and it broke my clavicle. When I fired it. Like, you can see, I still have it in slow motion. You can see in beautiful iPhone slow motion all of the rearward motion, and like it broke my clavicle pretty early on, and all of that you're seeing pushing in is like past the bone.
Oh God.
Is it still fucked up? Those clavicle injuries never heal all the way right.
I don't know why they don't fix them.
It wasn't fully off. Like it wasn't a complete fracture. It was just like it was fractured.
Just cracked, so you're okay. Good. Yeah, I see guys with clavicles that they don't put them back. Like so here's the bone, it breaks, and then it heals like a Z, a letter Z.
Yeah, like layer it on
why
top
don't
of
you look? I broke my leg. It had a problem. They put a plate on the side of it with screws. It's like an internal splint, and then you just live with that forever. Why don't they do that with clavicles? Why do they let them heal like Z's? They don't do that with legs, arms.
I don't know, but I've always been afraid of that injury.
And it's a really easy bone to. I've said before, a guy I played hockey with took a check at a really bad angle, and it like severed it in two, like broke in half. And I remember being in the locker room. I wasn't playing the game, and like just seeing like as he'd move like the little bits, and he was like green about to vomit. We were maybe like 15 at the time, and like now. Like you see him like with his shirt off, like one shoulder is slightly closer to his center mass than the other. And if he like moves it forward, you can just see, just like what he said, instead of like this, like a straight line and then a block and then a slightly lower clavicle line.
Yikes.
Like it seems like a lazy ass surgery. We should have that figured out.
Dude, fuck that.
Yeah, looks awful. What if you broke both of them and you're just all fucked up, all T-Rex armed?
I was gonna say, my luck, they're gonna go in with like a screw and try to do the plate thing and have one like that's just like a cut hair too long, just puncture my fucking carotid artery. It's just like, oh, neat. Now I get it. That's why you don't do that.
I should have just dealt with looking a little silly. I guess you didn't even break yours, so you don't even look silly. You look fine. If I were my buddy who that happened to, I would have been pissed. Like once that healed, I would have been like, what the fuck, man? Like this is. So I'm never going to be the same. Like none of my movements are going to be the same. Muscle memory, everything's different. Like, well, why couldn't you just fix it correctly?
I bet if you were like, maybe if you were a sports, like if you're a professional athlete, like maybe they go in and do it, but maybe it's just not necessary for the average person. I don't know.
What if they give you the option and there's a difference in copay or something, and your parents just said, no, they just don't do that. Just like, there's no solution for this. And you look it up. My parents were fucking cheap.
It's like the Family Guy where they're like, where Joe goes in and they're like, well, Mr. Swanson, we can give you new legs, but unfortunately your insurance doesn't cover it. And he's like, well, what does my insurance cover? And they're like, well, this wheelchair, Mr. Swanson.
Jesus.
Oh, no.
Hey, so Biden did the 5 or 6 executive actions, most of them being about gun restrictions, gun study. What did he do?
So there was, I think it was 6 executive actions. One of them was, I think 2 of them were pretty much just lip service. It was like, hey, ATF, you make this report every year about firearms trafficking that they already do. So I was really confused by that one. I'm like, okay, cool. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. The other one was like, it was an inner city violence intervention kind of thing. They were just going to put like a little bit of funding toward preemptive measures in urban environments and stuff like that. One of them was about the arm brace thing. It was like saying like within 30 days or 60 days, the DOJ is going to make a ruling about the pistol braces. Which I'm like, okay, well, that's cool because like they've already done that like 4 times.
So they haven't. All right. So one, I thought that one was over, and
it was.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't like these. Let's say that he successfully bans arm braces.
Sure.
I don't like it, but I see it as a parallel to like the bump stocks, which I didn't like either. You know,
same. Yeah, that's one of those like no matter what side you're on, like I didn't like that bit at all. We actually just got that overturned. I think the Firearm Policy Coalition just won a lawsuit in federal court about the bump stock ban.
Oh, so you can have them again?
I'm not an attorney. I dropped out of law school, so I have no fucking clue.
Well, you made it further than me. So.
I made it 3 semesters.
I know someone who melted dozens of them.
Maybe for the best.
You know somebody. Somebody wasn't me.
But yeah, I didn't like that they banned bump stocks. I kind of sort of liked mentioning that he banned bump stocks because yeah, but I didn't like that he actually did it. And I don't like that he's banning the arm braces. It doesn't impact me. I don't have one. I didn't really desire one, but yeah, any ban I
just check. I'm like, do I have anything?
So what else did he do? There's the arm brace study thing.
The arm brace thing, and then there's they're also making a determination about ghost guns, which is basically just 80% that you finish at home or making your own firearm. Even the 3D printing community, stuff like that, like basically just guns without a serial number, which from the beginning of the country has always been legal to do. They're just trying to, I guess, make a ruling about that, which again they've already done. Like any 80% firearm, like an 80% ghost gun that gets shipped to you, usually comes with a letter from the ATF that they photocopied, like, hey, we sent this into the ATF asking if this was okay and legal to do according to the law. And they said yes. And so it's really interesting that he's going back and basically just like, hey, ATF on these 2 issues, re-roll the dice until we get the answer we want, which is, I don't really like that.
Always been legal, but, and I'm not correcting you, I'm telling the audience, they have to fit all the same rules that other guns do. So you can't make like a short barrel rifle or something like that.
You're 100% right. Yeah. You can't make a machine gun at home and be like, well, I made it myself. You're like, good for you. You're going to jail.
Yeah. But so long as it fits the other rules, if you finish it at home or make it at home, it's fine. So, all right. So that's 4 of them. Maybe you're doing pretty well at this. What else was there? Do you remember?
I may have I'm probably missing one along the way, but the other one was the new ATF director. And I purposely saved this for last because that's an interesting can of worms. David Chipman, I believe, who is like currently a professional anti-gun activist, but he's been at the ATF for like 25 years. Dude's got the most punchable face you could possibly.
What's his name again? I'll show his picture.
David Chipman. And he was one of the ATF agents at Waco and has like a selfie with a rifle in front of a bunch of burning kids. And like, just like the dude is like the most cartoonish villain of the ATF you could possibly have, that he just was appointed, that Biden couldn't even pronounce the name of the organization correctly. He said twice. He's promoting him to the head of the AFT.
Oh yeah. Twice he called it the AFT.
Yeah,
not a big deal, but it fits the narrative of the whole senile,
right. I don't think it's the biggest. Well, once is easy to write off, and then as soon as he did it a second time, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, that one too. So as you mentioned, he's an anti-gun guy now in charge of the ATF. And right. I don't like it. I'm pro-gun. If you don't know, yeah, I guess you watch the show. I'm a little bluer than the other 2 hosts, but pro-gun. And I'm like, so I don't like this move. I see it as a parallel to the Cole guy who they put in charge of the
EPA.
The EPA.
Yeah.
When the guy was,
who would know polluting best?
He had several active lawsuits against the EPA, and he, like you said, he was a coal producer or coal owner, something like that, and now he's in charge of the environment. And you're just like, oh my god. The fox is guarding the hen house. Well, now
I am a coal man.
So now this
son HW.
Guys in charge of the ATF and their AFT, some call it.
Yeah,
some
people are saying, yeah.
We're having the FIB look into it.
It's and it's an interesting debacle. It's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? They'll probably tie him up in the Senate for a minute on his confirmation because, you know, as it turns out, while it's not a career defeating move, taking selfies in front of a bunch of burning children is not a career ender. But it's not good for your career.
Burning children, literally?
At Waco.
Like it was
Waco.
The Waco debacle, where I think it was like 73 or 78, you know, men, women, children died, like burned to death from the ATF. He took a selfie and they identified, like, in the background, there's like, yeah, that's one of the like Uncle Ben style skeletons in the back there. It's really, really kind of fucked up.
Yeah, what a ghoul. I just looked it up because it sounds over the top. It's just a ghoulish picture. He's standing there like he just like valiantly won a hard fought battle, and it's like, no, this is Waco. Like there weren't, you know, centurions marching out to meet you in the battle. Like, no, there was a massacre.
Yeah, and it's like, even
you're a big David Koresh fan, right, Taylor?
Huge, the biggest. I know so many things about him, such as, you know, lots of people died at Waco. Well,
I know you've got that tattoo.
That's supposed to be a secret.
That full back piece you've got.
Well, I'm adding a full chest connection.
Now he's got a good David Koresh. Now he's saying it's a Far Cry tattoo.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that picture of him looking crazy with the whites of his eyes showing above his pupils. Yeah,
that's not great.
Yeah, no, I mean, even if you agree like that those guys were a little crazy, which, you know, if you have a religious cult, you know, hey, you know, fair enough. I see why people would say that. Yeah, that was a pretty big miscalculation, even just from optics on the ATF and FBI's part.
It was scorched earth on it, which
like, yeah, you're going after like one dude for technically what's, I mean, just barely a felony.
Yeah, that one clip of the FBI agent, I'm sorry, FIB agent up on like he's on like the eave of the roof, and through the second floor wall, you see machine gun fire coming through at him, and he just like rolls off the roof. It's like, God, they were not fucking around in there.
Some of them though, like I saw some of the breakdowns afterward, they were like, some of the agents that were killed, I think were like friendly fire. Cause like you had agents that went in, and then you have agents later get to the roof, didn't see it, and they're spraying MP5s through the window of where their buddy just went in. It's like, ooh, fuck, buddy. Like, no.
Yeah, H&K must have had a sale that week because every one of those fucking feds has an MP5 just fucking going to work in there. Yeah, that was a wild situation. It definitely shaped the way they handle things like that permanently. I think that was terrible optics. And then it wasn't all that long after that, you had the Alien Gonzalez thing where you had ATF with the gun, with the I think it was an MP5 again, maybe pointed at the child's head, finger off the trigger, I believe, but it's been a while since I've seen the image.
He's in the cabinet, and you're like, got that whole thing going on.
That was Clinton, right? Am I crazy? Or is that Bush?
Yeah, I want to say Clinton.
It's a 90s photo.
This was all during Clinton. This was all like from like
it's Janet Reno. That's that's who was catching all the heat. See, Clinton was so good about that. Like for whatever reason, I blame Janet Reno for all of this and not Clinton, who was the president of the United States. Like you don't see that now.
Yeah, but after that was the Ruby Ridge thing. Like it was like back to back to back.
What was Ruby Ridge?
Ruby Ridge was where the guy they had basically entrapped the guy into making an SBS, which is a short barrel shotgun, because they wanted him to inform on like somebody who knew who was part of like this white supremacist biker group or some shit like that in Idaho. And they're like, so they entrapped him. They're like, hey man, could you take this shotgun for me and like cut the barrel? Like, it would be super cool, man. I just appreciate it. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then he did it. And he's like, you've just committed a felony. You're going to report on these people. And he didn't want to do it. He's like, no, dude, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And so they went and like surrounded his house and everything. Ended up like, they used an MP5 and like, I don't want to get too graphic or anything, but like they shot a dog. They shot a dog while like the father and son were out hunting. I think Randy Weaver. And then the kid goes crazy because like two agents pop out of the bush and like light up his fucking dog. So he starts firing at the agents. They chew off the kid's arm with an MP5. Like he's like a 7-year-old child, right? And then like chase him back up. And then one of the FBI snipers takes a shot through the door, kills like his pregnant wife. Like it's a whole fucked up situation.
I haven't determined if this is bad yet. Did the 7-year-old resist a little?
Was he asking for it?
Yeah. Did the cop yell taser?
He may have. But with an MP5, it'd have to be like taser, taser, taser,
taser.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I didn't know all those details about.
God, if I were still making videos, I would make that video where I'm shooting machine guns going taser.
A little less forgiving of that stuff these days. Yeah, we just like 2 strikes. We had 2 strikes going on at once, and if we didn't get one of them removed, I would have had 3 in a row.
Wow!
We got our channel removed. Like,
what they hit you for?
Yeah, what'd they fuss about?
A couple different videos. One of them that really pissed me off was German machine guns of World War II, which is one of our most popular videos. It's like 4.5 million or something, but like they claimed it for hate speech. I'm like, I went to Drive Tanks, which is just a firearms museum, basically. We didn't talk politics. I didn't say anything you're not supposed to say. I was just like, hey, let's shoot all these German machine guns of World War II because there's a bunch that I think are really cool. And they flagged it for hate speech, and that was our second strike. I'm like, that's really confusing to me.
That's outrageous.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not like you were there like, and this is a tremendous German machine. If it had been a little better, might have brought the Third Reich to victory. Now on to the shooting portion of it. It's like you weren't.
There was no swastikas. There was no heiling in the middle of the video. Like the only thing we used like German music, but we were even careful to not use the period music, like anything referring to Reich or whatever. We used like things that were close, that didn't have any crazy lyrics. Like we even translated the lyrics to make sure there was nothing.
Now we were wearing Klan hoods, of course.
You have to get bogged down in the fucking details.
You translate the music. It's like marching through Poland, killing the Juden. La, 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 la.
Wait, is that the Russian
the
theme?
victory music in COD 4? That's dark.
My favorite part is like I think the original like national anthem of Germany, like Deutschland, Deutschland über alles, is referring to all these places. Like it's basically like ours, like, you know, from these mountains to this ocean.
Yeah.
Just like it's
from the lakes of Minnesota.
Yeah. But like when you realize, like, wait a minute, hold on, you pull up a map, you're like, these aren't places in Germany.
Mm-mm.
they're referring to like from the beach.
They used to be.
It's like, whoa, hold on.
Just go take like a World War I song. Nobody's mad about World War I.
As it turns
nobody
out,
cares about the Kaiser anymore.
Yeah. They had the spiky hats. That was a good look. They shouldn't have gone away from it.
I love the spiky hats.
Yeah. That you can attack. Well, I don't think they were made for attack. It was more for aesthetics, but you could.
I think they were made for attack. And in my head, obviously you'd use it to like bash someone when you take it off and hit them with it. But I like to imagine that one German private who just like full on went rhino mode with it and was just charged in.
I like to imagine that Taylor
Look
in
at
particular
Dita.
was a boss character in World War I with the extra long spike and extra thick helmet.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want any body armor or anything. Give me 45 spiked helmets. And I'm
Oh, I watched one today. Undercover cop sitting surveilling a residence about an unrelated matter. Along comes a carjacker, white dude with a gun, rolls up. Yeah. As soon as he pulls the door handle, the cop lights him up and kills him right there. His girlfriend, starts running up. Did you kill my baby daddy? Did you kill my baby daddy? And for a minute, the kid on the ground is still alive. He's like, what's your name? He goes, Clark. And later on, the girl goes, did you kill Clark? And I'm thinking like, he totally killed Clark.
Clark's dead.
Clark was
but
dead.
Clark shouldn't have run up with a gun pointing it at people.
Dude, it was all right. It was funny. Here's what happened. Clark's laying on the ground dying, and he's wearing.
This is funny. Keep going. It's a great setup to your joke.
You're losing little bits of your soul, man.
Look, he's laying there
These
dying.
videos.
He's white. You feel better now? His
He
name's
deserved
Clark.
it.
I don't care. I'm colorblind. I refuse.
Hey, where'd
to
all the cameras go?
He's laying there bleeding out, and he's got the guns laying next to him. The cop's standing over. He goes, "What?" He's on his radio. A guy just tried to rob me. You know, some code. Get to me now. And the kid goes, "I didn't try to rob you." He's wearing a ski mask, laying on the ground with a gun. And I just thought, man, you just instinctively lie. Like it's clear
Did you see
that you did.
where
ski mask?
There's a cop, he's pulling some guy out, he has a black hoodie on, and the guy just be like, I have to get one more thing from my car. I have to get one more. And the cop is clearly like, don't go back to your car. Don't. And he's acting like, bro, you're really making a big deal out of this. Like applying this, like, don't touch me, leave me alone, stop overreacting to everything. I wonder if cops ever fall for that. Like there must be a little social pressure for them to be like,
wasn't that the same guy who ran away and got hit by a car?
This guy, his buddy ran away. He was in a gray hoodie and sweatpants, and he had dreadlocks, and he had a gun. His buddy starts running, and the other cop chases him shortly. They managed to find him a few blocks away, and they shot him, and he's there dying. They're trying to save him after they shot him. I thought he was going to be okay because he yells out, "You hit me," which everyone correctly interpreted as the chase is done. I'm no longer resisting. You hit me. Now I'm looking for friends. And so the cops replied like you'd hope they would. You know, they're like, all right, who's got a chest seal? It sounded like it was a kind of bandage, maybe. And they're trying to help this guy. His baby mama comes around and starts screaming and freaking out.
Helpful.
Not helpful. I thought the guy was going to be okay because he sounded okay moments after the shot. But I read the description and he died at the hospital.
They always say that when they die right there on the ground, though, because I think they need the doctor at the hospital to declare them dead. Yeah. So it'll be like, remember on Succession when we as the viewer know that that one character has been dead for a very long time, but they're still doing chest compressions. You know, like people are getting tired of it at this point. I think that happens a lot because whenever I've watched the entire Police Activity catalog. I mean, every single one of them. I went to the beginning of the uploads years ago and just let it roll. Beautiful stuff.
So much.
Dude, there's
so much. Hundreds of thousands of videos.
The bad policemen get a lot of press when they do bad stuff.
Yeah.
But the ones on, is it Police Activity?
It's both there, which I love.
Okay. I've only been exposed to good cops on that so far.
I've seen a couple of bad shoots that were just there was that one where the guy's chasing the dude. There's some domestic thing and he's running with his gun out and he's running around the corner and the dude just spooks him. Like the guy just like rounds a fucking corner and the guy that he's chasing is right there and he just goes ha boom and just shoots him in the chest like one round. You can tell the cop is like really upset about this. He's just like did not mean to do it. And the guy ended up dying. I can
recall a bad shoot. There was a guy in the woods with an axe or it might have been a hatchet. You know, but you get it. And I think he was reported as threatening people with this axe hatchet thing. And the cop goes up to him and shoots him like almost right away from like 30 feet. And it's like, you kind of jumped the gun there. There really wasn't a lot of de-escalation.
You showed us that clip and the intro to it. I'm like, oh, guy in the woods with an axe. Like, I'm probably going to come down on the cop side here. And then I watched it and it's like, no, the dude's like 8 layers of trees away. He's like, what are you doing? Well, dying now. Like, and then kills him in the woods.
Hi, I was getting some firewood. Pop, 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 pop. Like, he's probably getting firewood, right?
No, because the cop went there and the axe wielder had been reported as threatening people.
He was in the water with a paddle. We don't know what he was up to.
So I assume that's true. But
wait for one threat or wait for the guy to start walking towards you. All you need is a guy. If a guy with an axe starts walking towards you, who's coming down on the side of the axe guy? Who?
Tell him to stop once, maybe. Just, have him walk through one of your commands or let him get within 20 feet or so.
Put the axe down, sir.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the slickest things I saw a cop do recently, he's comes into a parked vehicle and they look homeless in there and like lots of sketchy shit's going on. They don't have exactly the right paperwork and I don't know nothing about no warrants and it's getting weird. And the partner is like putting these mini stop sticks behind all the tires, like without them noticing. They look like rat traps, like this little triangle thing. And if they collapse it, it's gonna pop their tire. And it's those hollow spikes that immediately bleed them out. And sure enough, they take off 45 seconds later. You could hear it as the car is leaving. It was great.
That's pretty legit. Now, we both saw the one, I think everyone but Taylor saw that one at the strip mall, maybe?
Yeah, I haven't
seen it. Yeah, the Texas shooting.
Yeah, so
we need Brandon's expertise on this one.
Yeah, it starts off with a police officer actually talking to a mother and her 2 children, being super friendly with them and talking about buckling up in the car and stuff. And in the distance, you hear semi-automatic gunfire, like loud. And he immediately goes into action, getting his gun and calling it in. And the family gets the fuck out of there. And then it sounded closer to him clearly than it was, because he goes on a very long jog.
He does not jump rope, this dude. He had no cardio.
And
in 100 feet, he was sucking wind.
And I hate to be that Monday morning quarterback, because this guy immediately grabs his patrol rifle, runs toward the sound of gunfire.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing the thing you want cops to do.
Absolutely.
So, like, you know what? I'm giving like 95% kudos to this dude. Executed really well.
I agree.
The 5%, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, we just hear this dude huffing and puffing into his body cam.
I don't care that he's out of shape. I bet he's not even that out of shape. I think in that moment on a hot day, wearing all that gear, carrying a rifle in your boots, and then you start running at what's about 1/8 of a mile. Man,
you have to wear pants.
I'm not going to be that far ahead of that guy, you know. But if he hopped in his car, he could have been there real quick. But it clearly sounded close. Like he needed to get in the action right now. And you don't want to drive up on somebody who's standing with a gun, because they're going to.
You know what would contribute to cops being in better shape is if they all had to kind of wear postal carrier style shorts. Like, because that
I want them up high for mobility.
Honestly, the mobility's fine, but the real thing is like a shaming tactic where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, officer butt fuck, you're 200 pounds overweight, you have to adopt by these.
I like Kyle's idea. I need to see that camel toe, Rook.
Yeah.
Moose,
tell me that moose
Sir, why are we taking this so seriously? It's the local police department.
Yeah.
This ain't Mayberry, son. I've seen some shit.
Yeah.
It's a camel toe on the fit guys and a moose knuckle on the Chris Christies of the world.
Oh man, Chris Christie has the worst body type.
Did you see him? He got caught falling asleep on that fucking plane recently.
Someone should have checked on him. He could have died.
Oh well, yeah, because it was bad because of his posture. Like he looked like a fucking like bloated corpse, like just laid out.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, he needs a CPAP.
He's
Chris Christie should have a guy there being like, no, do not take pictures of the governor or whatever he was. Like,
have you ever seen
that? They should just put a sheet over him.
He's so fat.
Dead tired. Don't wake him.
You know the heuristic of guy who is like 5'8", but he's so fat that when he's sitting down, he has like the torso height of like a 6'3" man. Do you guys know what I mean? Like those fat people whose asses are so fat that when they're sitting, they look like how Kyle would sitting down, like a 6'2" guy. And then they stand up and they're like 5'8", and it's just ass fat that's increasing their sitting
Imagine
height.
having enough ass that it increases my sitting height.
That's an American problem.
You're on a booster seat.
We need no such thing as an uncomfortable chair at that weight.
John Wick was good that way too. John
Wick don't know how to tie a knot.
He's never tied anyone up that I can recall. And he'll catch the bad guy, and you'll think he's about to explain his motives, and then no, just shoots.
I like the John Wick movies. The first one especially was really, really realistic and gritty, and like it felt like it could have been like real life. Like with a couple exceptions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how I like the next couple. Like kind of go more toward that like graphic novel kind of like cartoon assassin universe kind of thing. Like I like it still, but I think I wish they would have kept it more realistic. You know.
Can they do that without? Do you have to top yourself every movie? Can you just do it again?
You know what would have been cool? And I hate to say it because this is Hollywood. This is what we always complain about, but a prequel. A prequel might have been cool because, like, you know, he used to be this assassin and everything. And like, I'm always like, in any movie, like whenever it'll begin and it'll show like your hero like do a quick little mission. I'm always attached to that mission more so than the big thought out Ocean's 11 sort of like, let's get the team together and plot and plan sort of thing that's played out. I like seeing that initial mission where they just go and like do a real straightforward, simple, like seek and destroy kind of thing. I could have watched a whole like John Wick prequel movie about that.
You know, they kind of set it up for that too, because they like there's that whole thing like you don't just get out of this business. Like, do you remember what I had to do to get out?
They keep referencing like this crazy thing he did where he just like killed so many people. They sent him on the impossible mission. You know, they keep referencing it over and over.
I want to see this prequel so much. That's the movie we want. We want the prequel. It's better than the 2 and 3 that they've made. They need to go with this idea.
Well, there's a 4 coming now, and I think a 5 as well because I mean they keep making tons of money, and look, the quality doesn't drop. It's just maybe the story isn't quite as good, but the quality as far as the gun fu, the the hand-to-hand combat stuff, the visuals, the directing, the camera work. It's still pretty fucking cool to watch. It's a roller coaster ride of a movie.
I only saw the first one, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, they're good.
I enjoyed the first one.
I like seeing jujitsu, and I like seeing like proper gun work.
The only thing that bothered me about the last one is where they went, because they, it's obviously selling a lot of Terran stuff. The only thing I didn't like is where they went like, oh, they're wearing heavy armor. Here's a spicier 9mm. It's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, you have rifles all over here, and you're just like, nah, here's a 9mm that goes faster.
Yeah, that didn't make a ton of sense. And also, like, I think maybe there was some fancy slugs they brought out for that one black guy
That's
for his 12 gauge.
That was pretty cool.
I liked that a lot more than the hot 9mm stuff, because it's like, I mean, it's still a handgun. Like, it's not even one of the more powerful ones. Like, you couldn't maybe get a 10mm out there with some AP rounds. Like, maybe I'll care. I don't know. But or maybe a Smith & Wesson 500. Like if they brought out like a big ass hand cannon or something, and like show him like speed loading that. Like, maybe I'm down with that. Like big fireballs coming out.
Doesn't even matter that it stopped it. You just crater your chest cavity.
Yeah, just concuss them by hitting the helmet or whatever. But yeah, there's plenty of AP rounds that they could have like brought out. Just bring out an AR-10. I don't know. There's plenty of shit. Or what if he brought out a short barreled Barrett or something like that? He's doing
that
like,
would have been fucking dope.
He's like loading that thing fast and just dun 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 dun. Yeah, I think it'll.
So I got a call that so we obviously couldn't do it, but like they had asked about using or potentially using, I'm not gonna say like it was a sure thing, but potentially using an AK-50 in John Wick 4.
What's an AK-50?
That was kind of the weapon system I was developing. Still developing. One of those things. We still have to go home and make the new prototypes. More of like a passion project right now, but like a 50 BMG. Think of like an AK and a Barrett together, right?
Very cool.
And they were wanting to use it. I'm like, I don't fucking have one, unfortunately, but I would love to see that. Like, no matter what scene you're planning in that fucking movie where John Wick is about to go kick ass with a fucking 50 cal, I'm on board as a viewer. I want to see that.
Mm-hmm. I like when they do a little research and they bring out some cool shit that I'm like, oh, he's got a desert tactical rifle there. Okay, all right, he's not fucking around. He got a little bullpup sniper. All right, cool. I usually like his handgun selection and stuff like that, but I do wish there was some more exotic shit in there, because that's the kind of stuff that turns me on. Like if he brought out, I don't even know what he'd do with it, but if he had one of those Anzio Ironworks 20mm rifles.
Oh my god!
I would hope so.
Did you ever see whenever you went to like Drive Tanks or Ox? Did you ever see the owner's Triceratops skull?
That's sweet.
I don't
How
think
big
so.
is it?
I don't think so.
It's in his house.
I think I would remember that. He didn't have the house then. So when I went there, I was there to help blow up his old house that was like that big modular home there with the pool in the back. And so we like blew up his house and destroyed it. And then they were going to like build this pimp house after that. So
it's a nice fucking house. But he's got in his office it's a whole ass, fully intact Triceratops skull. I'm like,
oh, like 200. It's got like $200,000, right? That's like $100,000 piece. I
think it's probably more. It's
how big is
a lot
it?
More. It's big. It takes up a good chunk of the room.
Bigger than like a big bison mount.
Oh yeah. It's a fucking big piece. I'll send you guys. I have a picture in front of it because we were drunk as shit. But
a front quarter bison mount is so big that it impresses upon you the fact that this is not the kind of animal that you would ever tangle with.
Yeah,
like there's no your blade, your 6-inch blade would. There's so much fur just on an animal like that around the throat. Like those things are colossal.
And the Triceratops. So like if it's just the head, how big is it standing next to it? Is it like all like just the skulls all the way up to your waist?
I think it's mounted on the wall. Oh baby, that's fucking cool.
See, that's what I like. That's what I like to see with dinosaurs. Like a big, scary beast that didn't have feathers.
I don't want to say that guy's first name, but does he seems to have always had people around him who knew cool stuff for him to get into. Like every time I would look, he has so many cool toys. I'm sure you've seen all the like. He has everything.
We were just over at his place the other day filming the RPG video. We shot an RPG 7 through a human torso. And that was fucking wild. That was an expensive video to do because we missed twice. And each one of those rockets is $3,500 a piece.
So the third time you're like, all right, really aiming. Did you get a little closer?
Where do the warheads come from? Because I saw the Palestinians are making them in-house now.
These were Bulgarian surplus rockets.
Okay. You should find that video and maybe show it to somebody, because the Palestinians are like cranking them out over there in like a little shop. And they ain't costing $3,500 for them they're shooting them out of the Russian launchers.
After this, I found after that video, we already filmed it and everything. I got linked up with a guy who's making them domestically.
Yeah,
and he actually has the high explosive shit. So
there you go.
All right, that might have to revisit at some point.
I thought that
I
was
want to see someone else shoot the first one though, right?
What's up?
I want to see someone else test fire it
first.
first.
Definitely. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I don't know. Before you just put in the rocket like right next to your head, essentially. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, no, that's fucking cool. That guy's got like fucking. They were building the skeet range. I think that was the last thing I saw. They were being like Sporting Clays range or something like that.
I don't know
but just the wild game that's out there is.
Dude, he's got so much new shit out. He's got rhinos now. He literally like.
Did he get hippos yet? He wanted hippos like Pablo
it cost to kill a rhino?
I don't know if they've got them for like to be able to be shot, but they're we named them Fuck Beast and Thundercock were the two rhinos that we named out there.
Oh, nice.
It's not their real names, but that's what we call them.
Yeah, you shouldn't kill rhinos. Those aren't like. There's not a lot of them.
Especially not Fuck Beast and Thundercock.
There's just some surprising shit you can kill out there, like kangaroos. I didn't know you could kill those.
Yeah,
those
are like deer in Australia, is my understanding.
What he told me, I asked him, I was like, hey, what all do you have to shoot? And he didn't really know. He basically said, everything's got a price. I was like, what about the camel? He said $8,000. Like $8,000, and he'd let me shoot that fucking camel. And I'm feeding the thing carrots and
right. What was its name?
Sushi.
I forgot.
Yeah. That's the one thing I don't love about high fence stuff is like some of those hunts. Some of them are like really like actually pretty good, but some of them are literally just like walking up with a 357 and capping this animal that you can hand feed.
You gonna talk about the hangout?
Yes. So, sometimes your friends show you something and you're like, oh damn, you didn't prepare me. I wouldn't do that. I bet what he had was he had gone to Texas to do some hog hunting. And he's got one of those rigs where you've got like a Mac 11 lower on an AR, and transferable. And I guess they've just got pigs in a pen, and they're letting them run. He says pull, and they open the gate, and the thing runs right to left like it's Duck Hunt Mario, and he just and I thought that was a little fucked up.
So the first video was this nice, clean kill, right? And he goes, yeah. Now, I've shot full auto, but I'm not very experienced, not like you two. And I'm not very good at it. So when he hit the pig, this moving target, I was like, oh, this nice. And this guy happens to be good with guns.
Yeah.
And then the second one.
MP5 on the next one, I believe.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
On a pig?
The pig starts screaming. It is in awful pain. It is just wailing. And like, I'm not super tender-hearted on this stuff, but man.
He starts plinking this fucker with a Glock, and he says, and it's like, dude, just close and finish it. Did
I tell you guys about that pig hunt that we did down in Florida?
Knives?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, we went with knives. And I got a nice clean kill, and then Cody goes up for his kill, and I'm recording him because I'm using his camera and everything. And you just have to like really put your knee down on this fucker and just stab him like right up under the armpit, just get him right in the heart. And he had this big angry fucker. Apparently, they'd known this pig was on the property for a while. They wanted to kill him. He was just like goring dogs and shit, like just a big mean fucker that needed to be killed. But the knife was just barely too short. And so it is about 45 seconds of me just recording Cody just going to town, stabbing this pig under the armpit, and it's just squealing the whole time. There's blood spurting out, but not like arterial blood. So like it wasn't like
it's just
didn't get the heart yet. And it was after about a minute, I was just started lowering the camera. Like, dude, we can't use this, dude. This is pretty fucked up.
This is bad footage.
Like
bury that pig. Delete the evidence that we.
Well, apparently they took it apart later.
This pig.
The pig, like in its like shoulder cartilage armor, had buckshot in it from where it had actually been. Like people tried to shoot this fucker with a shotgun and couldn't kill it.
Damn. Yeah. Well, this pig got finished eventually.
Yeah, the Glock, right?
Hangout by the Glock. And
I don't know if it was dead by the end of the video.
I have no experience
the video
hunting. I have no experience hunting pigs, so I was kind of looking to Kyle's face for like affirmation or like what I should think about it, because you're correct. The first one, it was like and he just was a dead pig. The second one, like I kind of kept glancing up after the Glock came out and I saw Kyle's face like like still like there's another 15 seconds of this. Like this is a lot of I was like, is he missing or is it just like that's no apparently
no, the pig's wails implied to me that he hit it quite a bit.
I bet like when he walked over with the Glock and was firing the Glock over and over and it kept squealing, I was like, is he just missing with the Glock? This guy's
shooting it in the ass.
This guy's an incredible shot. There's no way he's missing it.
What he's done is he's hit it in the spine with the 9mm and he's broke its back. So it's just got its front legs trying to crawl away and he's shooting it up the asshole and in the back legs and stuff, trying to kill it. But he doesn't have enough penetration with 9 to go through into the vital organs. With a rifle, you can shoot a deer in the ass and blow his chest out. I've done it.
The first
dead right
thing,
there, but the
first like actual hunting I ever did when I was very young was with a 20 gauge with my grandpa on his farm, and it was rabbit hunting. And so we were hunting these hares, not cute little rabbits. They were kind of cute, they were still rabbits, but they're like big wild ones. And he was that's a great mug, Serenity now. And this rabbit was running across the field, and my grandpa didn't even have a gun. He was taking us out to like show us, and so I like got my little 20 gauge up on my 6-year-old shoulder, however old I was, and then like tracked it, shot it, and like I knew it hit because I heard the noise of it hitting and the rabbit making noise. And my grandpa like hit me on the back with his big farmer hand, like, there you go, Taylor, good job. And so like then he went over there and I walked with him, and I had this idea that like it was almost like a video game where like you just end something. Like it's just like it's shot, it's dead. Obviously, the bullets went in, the shell, the BBs went in, and I had shot it on the back hind quarter, like kind of above it, and it had broken its spine, and so it was like crawling with its little front paws. And my grandpa, like he had done it 10,000 times, just like not missing a beat, just like walked over and like right in front of me, like grabbed it by its like barely hanging on lower legs, and then took the butt of my 20 gauge and just went like whack, just like smacked it right in the back of the skull because it was hanging down. It killed it right away, if I recall. I try not to recall that, but yeah, I remember like, oh man, this is real. This is like real hunting. I hunted after that a number of times, but he fucked my youngest brother up and like scared him out of hunting entirely, because he went out there and like gave my brother a 22, and he was probably 6 years old also. And they're just walking around in the woods, and he was like, hey, there's a squirrel up there on that branch, get him. And so my youngest brother like shot the squirrel, and apparently one shot killed it, just dropped down. And like, I guess my brother like didn't fully internalize what it meant to shoot something with a gun, because he was like inconsolable that he had killed a squirrel. Like, really? Never wanted to hunt again.
Man,
ever.
Childhood me was ruthless. Like, yeah, I'm much more tenderhearted now than childhood me. Yeah.
How old is your brother?
He's 20. He's 7 years younger than me. So,
at the time.
At the time, probably 6. Yeah, ooh, he did this with all of us were around 6. I think the first times we hunted, 6 or 7.
When I was 4, my dad had been hunting and he had shot a deer and lost it. And so me and Dad and our Weimaraner Sam went out the next day to go hunting for this thing. The woods were behind our house, like directly behind our house, but it was a couple hundred acres there. And we tracked the deer and tracked the deer. He'd shot it with a 243. I remember, no, a 22-250. I remember that. And small caliber thing. He'd gotten away. Found the deer finally. It's down in this dried out creek bed. Dad's got to climb down in there. It's kind of a hard climb to get down in there and not fall. And so little 3-4-year-old me or whatever stays up there with my slingshot, and I'm like watching Dad go down there, and he goes to grab the deer by the antlers to drag it back out of the creek bed, and the deer stands up and comes alive and starts fighting, and now Dad has the deer by the antlers and they're fighting, and he can't let go of the antlers, and he's yelling at me to run. He doesn't want to let go because he's afraid the deer will trample me if it happens to run my direction, because it's like a fucking wild animal, and I'm tiny. I went in there on his shoulders. I couldn't have walked in there. And so I'm not running because I think I can shoot the thing with my slingshot, And I'm shooting acorns and shit at this thing because I'm a 4-year-old child trying to help daddy. And dad goes, "Get him, Sam." And the Weimaraner jumps on this thing and grabs it by the throat. And it's stretching skin on this thing 1.5 feet off this fucking deer, whooping its ass. And now dad has a hand free and he pulls his belt off, wraps it around there's a tree out there, maybe like this big, like 3 inches. He cinches the deer's antler to the tree. He doesn't even have a pocket knife. We got nothing. So we got to go back home for some weaponry. And by the time we got back, Sam had killed the fucking deer.
Good for Sam.
Sam's a good boy.
Fuck.
Sam's
that is metal as fuck. Jesus, Sam.
Yeah. Good.
Sam was a good boy.
What a good pup. The kind of dog you need when you're in dire straits about to be trained.
Mom didn't think so. She took him off. Left him on the dirt road.
A weapon after all.
Yeah.
Sam.
Good old Sam. Terrible.
Mom took him to a dirt road. That's not cool.
Yeah, left him on the dirt road. Me and my sister were in the back seat, looking out the back window at Sam chasing us down the dirt road. Dad looked for him for weeks, never found him.
That's so shitty.
What? Fuck.
Childhood.
Dad marry Skylar?
Childhood.
Yeah,
that is very shitty.
Mom.
Good dog though.
What was her motivation for getting rid of the dog?
I don't remember. I think she was trying to take care of it or something like that. Maybe she had more responsibility for the dog than she cared to have or something because he was at work or whatever. I think that was the deal. Oh, and to be fair, Sam was a very good boy. I had sicked him on the UPS man multiple times.
I'm sure he
appreciated that. I'm in the yard. Our yard was it's sort of this asphalt like loop-de-loop round thing, but we had a big sand pit to play in, like that was like bricked off, like the biggest fucking, what do you call it when it's like a sandbox, a huge sandbox though. And I was out there playing. UPS man showed up, and 4-year-old me went, "Get him, Sam," because why not? And he fucked that UPS man up. He had the big Mary Kay box, and he was able to fend Sam off with that. So Sam didn't like bloody him or anything, but from then on, he I think he wouldn't bring her cosmetic Mary Kay shit because he was so afraid of the dog and be sticking the dog on him. So that might have been part of the motivation. But again, I was 4 years old, and that was a long time ago.
That could have been a real different childhood memory.
Yeah. You go into juvie at 4.
Oh, they ain't gonna do shit to me. I here's another story that sounds unbelievable. When I was 4, my dad was friends with the deputy sheriff in Royston there, a guy named, I don't say his name. Anyway, they were shooting skeet, and I guess I wanted somebody's attention. Like, hey, look at me. And they're shooting skeet, and grown men are talking, so they're just ignoring little 4-year-old me. So I went and picked up the biggest rock I could pick up, and I walked over there with it and slammed it on the deputy sheriff's foot and broke it. So if they were going to lock me up, they'd have got me for that one.
Yeah, you were a little
halting an officer.
I also did a thing. I also set up an ambush on the highway in front of our house one time, still 4 years old, where I took concrete blocks and put them in the highway so the cars would slow down enough so I could hit them with rocks.
Man, you needed a hobby.
I did.
This is why organized sports are so important for kids, so they're not sicking their dogs on.
I was 4. What do you play it for?
T-ball? I don't know.
I don't think so. It's like you still shit yourself at 4, right? I didn't wear clothes most of the time.
You're just out there painting your face.
I was naked during all this. Yeah.
No, but nobody would ever believe that a 4-year-old actually sicked a dog on a UPS driver.
Yeah, they won't believe that shit. No. Ask my mom.
I'll give her a ring. What is I see all the time, and I get such a kick out of you engaging in gun debates and everything online, correcting misinformation with all that. What is, because you're so close to it, what is the gun take that gets your goat more than anything else, that when you see, you're like, these non-anti-gun people?
There's a couple. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but the big one is it seems, and it's some of the easiest stuff to correct too. It seems like a lot of the people that are spouting anti-gun stuff on the internet say, like, there's no reason for a civilian to be able to go into a gun store and buy a fully automatic weapon. I'm like, well, that's crazy because you can't. That's not allowed. Like, do you
need that on Accidental Ally?
What's up?
Accidental Ally.
Yeah.
Subreddit.
It's like the hoops you got to jump through, and like Kyle knows, like the shit you have to do to have access to this is insane. If you don't have your FFL, it's still like a lot of paperwork, and it's very expensive, like prohibitively expensive, like a year's salary for most people.
I'm glad you're here because I wanted to ask you about this. This is the coolest. I don't look at guns really that much anymore, but the coolest gun thing I've seen in a long time was a friend of the show. He bought a Mac, and then he bought a conversion kit so he can put an AR upper on his full auto transferable Mac.
Yeah.
And now he's got a fucking real machine gun for like Macs used to be $4,500 when I was looking at them. They're a lot more now. I think he paid 10 or something, but still. It's like a $10,000 machine gun, like a real one, a fun one, and it looks like shit.
they look so fucking awkward, but that's the cool part because that's the workaround. Because the lower of it I'm assuming on the Mac 10s, whatever, the lowers are considered the firearm or the machine gun. So the upper that you put on it's fucking irrelevant. It's just like changing the barrel or the muzzle brake. It's not the regulated part. So you can just put on whatever. I think I know who you're talking about. The company that sells those. They're kind of neat. I mean, I get the premise. You want to be able to shoot 5.56 with AR mags. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Taylor asked the most frustrating aspect of gun debate. Mine is this. When someone says, why do you need that? Right? Like, if it's a gun thing, then suddenly I have to justify it. No one ever asks me why I need 8 motorcycles. They never ask me why I need hockey equipment, or I don't even know how many sticks I have. No one asks me why I need anything else in my life. But suddenly for guns, even though it's a right to have it, they need me to like describe a scenario where it will come in useful. No, I don't play that game at all. Why do I need it? I don't. Or I'll say zombie apocalypse. I like that one too.
Yeah, I know it's kind of a bumper sticker thing, but it's like they don't call it the bill of needs. Like I don't need to justify like why the hell I've got it. And plus, I already kind of have it. So what's your plan for making sure I don't anymore?
Yeah. It's going to be tough. Look at your background. there's a lot of ways to shut that down.
This shit's my net worth, man. Like I don't know what you want from me.
Oh wait, there's an RPG on there. Is that rubber?
Yeah. That's what brought up the army story.
So that's it. That one's not rubber, but it's like a Chinese dummy. It's got all the explosives scraped out, everything like that.
Okay.
Another thing I think is funny with the army, or not the army, the gun thing I'll see sometimes is people being like, why do you even want an AR-15? Don't you know the government will just murder you where you stand with a drone? It's like, no. Like how many times has that been gone through when people understand like insurgencies and like fighting an armed populace? Like, remember how we dominated Afghanistan so hard? Oh wait,
it's like Eric Swalwell, the senator.
Soldiers on every corner. Like you can't control stuff with just drones and shit, just murdering people. Like
drone operators have families, so it's
yeah.
Hey.
There's a lot of people don't want to harm their fellow citizens and wouldn't do that. I would hope
it's just like Eric Swalwell, like the senator, I believe, or congressman, who was saying like, you'd never beat the U.S. government. Like we have nukes. I'm like, the fact that a representative of the U.S. government has just threatened to nuke its own people are kind of why we want guns. It's kind of a good idea.
they nuke Montana to show they're serious.
We win. It's a mushroom cloud and the fallout rains.
Fuck, it's blowing this way.
Also, like,
which way? Weren't you put in the middle of the country? It was gonna blow one way or the other.
That's kind of
How about this, Brandon? You can't be into guns anymore, but you still have to be a weapon guy. What do you pivot to?
Guns as in like legal definition of firearm? Or
firearms.
Okay.
You can't use firearms anymore, not even flintlock.
Damn, because I was going to go black powder because black powder is kind of fun.
Nope.
Cannons were kind of cool.
That's
fuck
no.
I would have. I mean archery, like the nice like the $3,000 bows and shit like that. I don't have any skill in them, but I've shot them before, like buddies and whatnot. And they're shot buddies bows, not shot buddies with them, but they're pretty fun. I would probably get into that. Those are kind of neat.
Air guns are crazy.
Air guns are wild.
Still a gun, yeah.
Oh no, you get around everything. Like flintlock.
Not in this fucking question I made up.
Never mind. There's some wild air guns. I don't know what the cutting edge of that shit is, but just it like shoots through the years. I remember seeing that thing that shot arrows.
Is that what they're allowed to have in? Did we talk to Finn about that? That he can have air guns.
They do a lot of air guns over there. You can have Finn's rich enough to have real guns, but in the UK. But
well, even then, I don't. They're kind of limited to like shotguns and hunting rifles, right?
I don't know, rules and restrictions, I think, over there. Like there's something that people don't realize is in any country, pretty much, if you have enough money and connections, you can get whatever you want. You're just going to have to pay out the ass for it. Like, because they just like when they film movies in the UK, those prop houses are using real guns a lot of the time. They're real machine guns that are like blank adapted and whatnot. But there's some license that has to exist to let that be owned.
Yeah, because there's an industry for it. Like there's a proper reason to possess those things.
Yeah,
and then I'm sure there's all sorts of antiquity laws and collection clauses and such over there, so that rich folks can just have their fancy shotguns. I did that fox hunt all the time. Where are those guys getting their guns?
Last time you were on, you hadn't yet announced your candidacy for Congress in Texas. How is that going? I might move there just to vote for you.
Shockingly well, I might accidentally have a job. So it's been interesting. So we were already obviously in the preparation stages for a long time before this. So I was tempted to tease something on the last PK, but I couldn't say anything.
Yeah,
I would have gotten yelled at. But no, it's actually been incredible. So it's kind of I got to that point where with YouTube and everything, I got to the point where I considered hey, I basically, in my eyes, have won the game of life. Like I don't have to really do anything I don't want to do anymore, and I just keep doing this because it's a good business thing, and it's and I genuinely enjoy doing it,
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, okay, now I can do some side quests of things that I actually think are important, and so I'm kind of in side quest mode. So I won my boxing match, and then now I'm doing this other thing. Which
so wait, what office are you running for exactly?
So U.S. Federal Congress District 23.
Shit. So this is real deal. This is U.S. Federal Congress.
Yeah. So my current opponent is Tony Gonzalez, who just kind of a really, really, well, I could say it here on the show. Nobody's going to get mad. Limp dick Republican.
What a bitch. I hate that guy. This is the first I've heard of him.
That guy's ugly.
He's ugly. And he also, he looks like a lesbian gym coach, but he
doesn't really in Texas.
Yeah. I've heard he fucks women. So he's guilty.
Allegedly. But he voted for gun control, which is an immediate way to piss me off. But he just has a bunch of other bad votes.
Wait, there's a Republican in Texas running under gun. What gun control did he vote for? Yeah,
it was the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, who basically did a bunch of like red flag laws and stuff like that after Uvalde. Yeah. He was like one of 10 or 15 Republicans who voted for it, so bipartisan. But
yeah, so we see how well those work.
Yeah, get the hell out. Get that guy out of here.
We just had a perfect case study of the red flag law at work, right?
Which one?
The main one.
What do you mean? The one with the manhunt last week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that guy,
tries to check himself in.
To be fair, which one indeed?
I don't know. They blend together.
The one in Maine, I guess there were a lot of red flags.
You really got to do something to stand out these days in the shooting game.
Yeah.
What's the most? What are the memorable ones? What are the
Vegas? Vegas is number one by far.
So memorable because
they never revisited it. It's just like, man, that's crazy. That guy carried 30,000 pounds of guns and then fired them with all 10 hands.
They've got the video of the. I will say so. There's a lot of sketchy shit on that shooting, but I will say that they did have the videos of the. And it's a little creepy of the bellhop is helping him carry these multiple carriages full of guns, like just gun cases and everything up to his room. Like you can't see their guns, obviously, but
they're probably used to SHOT Show, though. They wouldn't even whatever.
And the rules changed significantly after that about like guns and hotels and everything in Vegas. I mean, obviously, but that was wild. That was the one shooting that I woke up the next day and I was like, this might be the big one.
Is there a committee you're hoping for if you win?
We're still looking into it right now. Really, okay. I'm also going to be so we're getting to that point where we're looking into specific committees and whatnot. But
there's do you know who Jeff Jackson is? Do you know that name? He's a North Carolina guy who has the job you're running for, but in North Carolina.
Yeah,
and you might recognize him because he's like a TikTok star, but he's not a joke. It's just the platform he uses to do his little 2-minute videos on what's happening. And it's this he's a Democrat, but he comes across as unbiased to me anyway. And he just speaks really soberly about what's going on, what it's really like to do this job. If you haven't seen it, you might even get some insight from him and perspective.
I'd love to take a look.
But I had a point. He talked about the UFO stuff, which was pretty interesting. And he talked about the huge difference between the representatives when they're on camera and when they're off camera. Off camera, they can be pretty sane and smarter than you'd think. Right. And on camera, they're playing a character. They're actors.
I've noticed that a lot. I've talked to a few members of Congress that, like, are dramatically different, and not necessarily in a bad way, but like dramatically different on camera and when they're doing their job, and then when you talk to them on the phone or something like that, you see the real person actually come out, and it's a very different kind of.
I remember where I was going. He explained the committee assignments, and he's like, well, so I'm a freshman, I'm not going to get the most plum committee assignments, but they look at it. I asked for this or that, and because I had a military background, they thought I would be a good fit for this one here. So I wonder what they'll look at with your background and be like, oh, this guy'd be perfect for this.
Also, kind of crazy. Something I didn't know until fairly recently. I'm learning a lot about how the inner, deeper politics works.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of it good. In fact, most of it not.
What?
But surprise, surprise. But the one of the things is you have to pay for your committee assignments.
I had never heard that before.
Yeah, so like there's a different price associated
money
with
that
one.
Matters, or is it like it's $5 for this and $700 for that? You know?
Like $100,000.
Oh.
What?
So something that like you couldn't afford just on the pay of that job.
So crazy. That's weird, Taylor.
It is the
you
pay
notice
of the
some
job.
shit. Stop doing that.
Not very.
Wait. What's your level of confidence on this? I've never heard this before.
I think you have to be sponsored for some bit of it. I'm pretty confident. I was just watching a video the other day where it was active, like sitting members of Congress talking about that. And so I think it varies wildly depending on what assignment you're trying to get.
I wonder if they waive it and stuff. So here's the thing that I know. When Kevin McCarthy was going through all those votes to get his speakership, this is back in January, committee assignments were a way that he was winning people over. Like, all right, Brandon, you vote for me over, this silly head, and I'll put you on the Judiciary Committee, which is a good one.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was able to waive fees. I don't know. That's crazy.
Here we go. I've got one. It's problems with the committee tax in Congress. Less coveted gavels on the B committees, like the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, come with a price tag of $875,000.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
So no part of this is just.
And
organic.
you would pay that? Like,
I'm gonna have to. So like I said, I've got a couple meetings with some people that have been doing this for a long time, and we're gonna try to figure out like exactly how the system works and how.
Yeah. And by that, I wasn't saying would you want to pay that. I was like, the politician pays that personally, or that's like a government collection thing.
I believe so, and I think that's why like there's several people that can contribute to that. And that's
who do they pay it to? Like, who gets that money? Who's the guy? Like,
right?
Straight to the president.
Nice.
Straight to the big man. To the big guy. Yeah. That's how it works.
All starting to make sense now.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird like money stuff, and obviously like having to learn all the FEC rules to like basically how to be able to finance your campaign but not go to prison. That's been really cool. I don't think I'd do very well in prison. I'm good.
You'd be all right.
Oh yeah, you'd do well. Kyle did great. Gun guys, they're very likable, very charismatic. It'd be good.
That matters.
Yeah. You just have to not shit for 4 weeks. And
it's really important to know how to work a firearm in a place where none of them are allowed.
I like to imagine that they were waiting for me to poop to rape me, but because I was so constipated, like that whole month went by, and they're just like, he's never met us, man. This stubborn before. He knows it's coming. He's Kyle
motherfucker. He's just unrapeable.
I'm letting him go. I'm unrapeable. I'm impressed. Never seen anybody hold a shit for a month.
I mean, is part of you? Were you a little insulted? No one tried.
Well, I mean, that guy made that comment. I was so scared of that. I was legitimately that. I'm telling you, it was 2 weeks in or whatever, and I had finally relaxed. I was like, this is nothing. I'm going to sit on this bunk and read fucking books for the next whatever, and 6 weeks or whatever was left. And like, no, who cares? And then like 2 weeks in again, this guy's told me somebody over there wants to get with you. Oh, that ruined my day. That ruined your day, huh? I was
scared. What? The next 30 minutes, I was anxious.
Yes.
for the next remainder of my stay.
But then Reba came on the white TV.
I looked into that.
I bet you've never sat on your bunk and waited for your buddy to go take a shower before you could, have you?
Ironically, now I'm so scared. I want to
get the facts right on this. These are fundraising goals. Like that $875,000, that's not something you're supposed to pay. You're supposed to get on the phones and raise that for the party.
Right.
That's harder.
That's difficult.
Depends on your network, right? Like
depends on what big billionaires you got funding.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd also like to look into what the fundraising rules are for that, because like there's for my race in particular, I think it's like unless it goes to the Victory Fund, which is a whole different thing, but like an actual personal donation caps out at $3,300. So to raise $1.2 million that way is incredibly difficult.
Yeah. I don't know what is that the limit total that you could donate to any political campaign? What when you're, I always make a joke to girls. What I'll say is like, hey, I know I didn't ask, but I didn't think you'd mind. The maximum campaign donation to Donald Trump is $5,000, and I'd already sent that in, so donated in your name. They flip. They lose their fucking shit when you tell them that. Like, you will lose a girlfriend real quick if you stick to that story for too long.
That's pretty funny, though.
It is really, it's worth it.
Yeah. And I bet it would endear them to you a little bit because they're like, wow, this guy can just throw 10 grand around, not caring. Wow. And then she's like, can I write this off my taxes now? Is that how that works? I don't know.
You actually, so you don't get to write it off at all.
Yeah, political contributions aren't tax deductible. It's not like a good cause.
Which I was shocked too. I didn't think so going in either. But yeah, they are. They're not tax deductible.
There's got to be like someone's created a loophole for that, though, right? These are the most powerful and influential people in the world. There's got to be a way to donate politically and have it be tax deductible. Maybe you're donate to your group or some fund or something that in essence is you.
I feel like there is. Like I bet there's some like Sierra Foundation, right? That probably has political influence. Sierra Foundation is an environmental group that people don't know.
Yeah. Sure.
Since you started like the running process and all of that, like has there been any unexpected nonsense or like interest from media figures and stuff that you didn't anticipate, or people trying to get backstories on you, or like how has that been? I imagine when you announce your candidacy for something, like immediately like floodgates of inquiries start.
Yeah, so I had a couple contacts, and like I've been in the political realm before, so like this isn't like a whole new rodeo for me necessarily, but definitely a lot of so there was two different points where things got interesting. One was the initial announcement, obviously that kind of like made a bit of a splash. The second one was when we released our fundraising numbers. Because when we first announced, then it was like it was kind of like, okay, internet guy, haha, okay, he thinks he's gonna make a run at it. They had no idea like the preparation we'd done. Like I'm actually like I've been in this world a little bit before, so like we knew what we were doing a bit. Sure. I've got really good consultants. I've got a couple of people that are they know what to be doing right now. Not to not make a joke out of this campaign. So we had the initial wave of inquiries and everything right off the bat, trying to get into the news cycle of it. The second bit was when we released our fundraising numbers and people went, oh, fuck, he's serious. Because we fundraised. So there's two other real serious primary challengers in this race this time around. We out fundraised both challengers combined by like 22 times over.
Oh my God.
Shit. Yeah. They're in a bad place then. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been kind of wild, and it's been no super PAC money, no big PAC money.
Amount on that, because I got to know, like how much money did you raise
in 2 months of fundraising? We raised over $325,000.
Yeah, that'll get her done. All right.
So that's in 2 months of fundraising in Q3. I entered Q3 late, and so that's no super PAC money, no PAC money, no big donors, no nothing. That is all just grassroots, and I'm going to throw in some of my own money as well. Mm-hmm. And so we're making a real serious bid at this. And it was really funny because, well, the one thing I will say, when we first actually announced, Tony Gonzalez had like no social media presence. He would try to post on Twitter or whatever, like once every 2 weeks. And then as soon as they found out, oh God, this social media guy is, oh God, he just announced he's running. All of a sudden he starts posting twice a day and posts a lot like at gun stores. Like, look, I support Second Amendment. Like, no, you don't, fucker. And I've just had people just harassing him. It's been
I just looked him up. This guy looks like a bitch, dude.
Yeah.
If you and him got into a politics boxing winner take office,
I've challenged him.
Yeah,
I said let's do it. I'm like I'm down. I'll do it for charity. I'll do it for the GOP.
I'll box you for the 35th congressional district.
Well, and
maybe you'll raise enough money to buy your committee seat.
Right. I need to get fucking Keem on the phone to zone everybody. There's some basis for that. Teddy Roosevelt, the great statesman, boxer. So
Lincoln, a wrestler, but that's close.
Lincoln is a Hall of Fame wrestler.
Well, and technically, I did not know before I bought my match. I actually had to get licensed with the Tennessee Boxing Commission. Like everything was very formal. Like the commission watched us get wrapped up and everything. It was a full thing. That technically counts as a pro boxing record. So technically speaking, I am an undefeated pro boxer. It's a great thing to throw on, behind a congressional campaign.
It is. You and Sam Hyde, 2 undefeated professional boxers.
I feel like that's more legitimate than me being a professional dancer.
No,
I did win a competition.
They're technically both true. And like, what is it? Technically true, which is the best kind of true.
Yeah.
You're undefeated in like YouTube jits though.
Of course. Where can everybody go to vote for you?
Well, apparently now it's different than usual. Now it's Brandon Herrera for Congress.com is where you can find me. So you can see some of the other issues and things we talked about. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll have to do an update here for too long.
All right.
I also wanted to extend the invite to all you guys too. We're doing another big creator range day down here in Texas on in early December. So, if you guys want to come on down, make the trip, Kyle will have plenty of flamethrowers and air rifles. And
I don't even know if I'm supposed to be around guns.
You can look at them. The government can't get you for that.
I better revert.
Careful.
No, but also,
It'll be like, think fast.
That's 15 years, boy.
But also, if any of you guys would like to come down or do the Unsubscribed podcast, we'd be more than happy to have you guys.
Cool, thank you.
I'm definitely down. That sounds like fun.
It's a hard job. It's a job I wouldn't want. And they do get stuck into situations that I do not envy. Like that video I sent you guys earlier of the police officer killing the 13-year-old who he met up with in the alley at like 2:45 a.m. in the morning, and the kid had a Glock, and he like pulls the Glock and throws it away at the same time he's raising his hands above his head. So it's real ambiguous whether or not it's a good shoot or a bad shoot. Cop taps him once in the chest and the kid dies right there on camera. And it is on the police camera, you see this kid's bloody face with blood coming out of the mouth and the life leaving his eyes at like 2 minutes and 45.
I stopped watching it. I didn't like seeing that.
I didn't love it, but I watched it all because I wanted to know what happened. And I'm left still not knowing if the cop was in the right or not. What I think was he was in a terrible situation. And like I don't know. I'm glad it's not up to me whether he's in the right or not.
Did you lay it out for everyone? I was kind of multitasking, finding.
Yeah, the cop's chasing the kid down an alley. The kid's like 13. He's wearing baggy clothes, and he finally stops. The cop has one of those. The
cop told him to stop multiple times, and he ran another 20 seconds, maybe.
Sure. Cop has like one of those like tactical strobe lights on his handgun, and which is blinding as fuck if you've never been hit by one of those, by the way, and it's super disorienting. And while the kid is raising his hands above his head, he is simultaneously drawing a handgun from his waistband and disposing of it. It's both. It's like, get rid of my gun and hands up. And it's this like single motion where it's like gun, throw away, hands up. That like, and the cop has to make this decision instantly for his life. And he does. And his decision is to shoot once. That's one thing I at least give him, like, regardless of whether it's right or wrong. I often see cops be like, oh, we need to shoot all of our bullets now. And it's just like, dude, he's been dead. Like, you're just ricocheting him into Toys R Us now. Like don't dump magazines into
it took me a second to process. Full on ricocheting into Toys R Us. Like,
yeah, it's all good. Nobody's there anymore.
That's true.
Oh, all right. F and chat.
The Circuit City and the Toys R Us were riddled with bullets. Police estimate $15 to $20 worth of damage.
So is this no, I assume this happened very recently, right? So it hasn't begun to unfold.
No, I think it's like brand new. Like it got linked to me. Like the moment I sent it to you was the moment I had received it. And
where did it happen? Like what city?
I'm like digging that up right now because it says it's Chicago.
Chicago, very popular for shooting.
Yeah, if anyone out there wants to see it, and look, I talked on PKN about how you should avoid scarring your brain with like fucked up shit on the internet. So it's your choice whether you want to see it or not. It's graphic. The title is Graphic Warning, Body Cam Footage of Chicago Officer Fatal Shooting of 13-year-old Adam Toledo. If you actually want to see the thing.
I didn't see the gun at all. So to me, it looked like the kid was running.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped running, put his hands up, and the cop shot him. And I was like, whoa, why? It seemed like a bad shooting to me. And there's this frame where you stop it, and there's nothing in his hands. The light is on him. You can see clear as day. He was unarmed and had his hands up when the cop shot him. Kyle's like, yeah, he had a gun in his hand. So I was like, wow. And I stopped the video. I showed him the still shot. He's like, frames before that. And then he showed me the gun on the ground. So I
missed that too.
I wouldn't have seen it either if it wasn't for the screenshot.
And like, maybe the cop didn't even see it. Maybe they planted the fucking gun. Like, I don't know the answers to these questions. All I know is like there was a gun, and the cop seemed super upset. Another thing I don't like, I mentioned them like mag dumping kids in the street. And it's when they do that, I think it's another one of those like thin blue line. Hey, if we ever get into a shooting, we all shoot. Okay. All right. Yeah. They're not taking us all down. If 18 of us light this guy up, there is no scenario in which 18 of us go before a grand jury. They don't do it. Okay. If you let John over there fire one bullet into a guy, he can be found culpable. But if 18 of us unload, clearly there was a threat and they will be on our side.
I show up 12 minutes later, pop one in solidarity.
That's part of it.
The corpse.
The other thing the other thing that I think is like similar to that, and I don't like it, is when they have clearly just murdered a man and he is dead or dying. And they're like, stop resisting, knee in the center of the back, getting his hands behind him when they really should be doing what this Toledo shooting cop did. And he's just like performing chest compressions, checking for a heartbeat, where are you shot? Where are you shot? So, and then the kid can't talk, but like, I rarely even see them ask that. They're just like, oh God, this guy who's clearly dead might come back to life. Like they're afraid of zombies at this point, which I could believe because of the low level of individual you got being cops.
This cop clearly wished he hadn't shot him. And wished he didn't have to almost. I don't know if the cop saw the gun or not. I didn't. If the cop saw the gun and shot and that's why, a good shooting, I guess. The kid maybe just should have put his hands up without touching the gun. If the cop didn't see the gun, then a lucky shooting, I guess.
Little PSA for people at home. When the cop is chasing you and he says, put your hands up, don't immediately show him your cool gun. Not a good idea.
Just
pro tips here on PKA. That's good that we brought in an expert for that.
I've been stopped by police. I've been stopped by police plenty of times when I had a gun on my person or in my vehicle, and never one of those times did I say, "Hey, do you want to see a gun? You want to see a real cool gun? It's got tiger stripes on it. Check out the barrel. It's got a."
Mark, do you want a brownie before you go to bed?
Hands on the steering wheel the whole fucking time, like yes sir, no sir, yep, all right. But
eye contact.
I've done all that and still got chastised by a cop. So in my concealed carry course, they told us not to tell the cop you have a gun. I have a gun is a thing that could make a cop unhappy.
They told you that?
What they told us to do instead was to hand your concealed carry license with the driver's license. That was your method of saying I have a gun. Then you answer any questions about it. And this cop did not like that at all. He thought I was hiding or something. Like, who hands over a concealed carry license is a method of hiding it, But
guess where it is, copper? Riddle me that.
But yeah, he chastised me, and I was trying to explain to him this is how they told us to do it in the concealed carry course, and he said, basically, he speaking on behalf of all police. That is not what you do. You tell the cop that I have a gun.
Yeah,
I don't know what's right.
That's a situation where I become a smart ass though. Like we got pulled over that time in Florida. I had like brand new tags on the SUV I was in. I just bought it, and it was me and my cousin Scott and this girl that I was returning to her house, and the car was full of guns. I mean, like 7 ARs and 8 handguns or something like that. A couple thousand rounds of ammunition. And they shine the lights in, they see it, and the guy goes, guns! And they're like, all right, everybody step out of the vehicle. And they're running all the guns and everything. They're running the car's registration and our IDs and our backgrounds. And finally come to the conclusion that everything here is A-okay. And they're like, you really shouldn't. You can't ride around with your guns in there like that. I'm like, am I breaking any laws? They're like, well, no. I'm like, well, I think I'll put them wherever I want then. Like I like my handguns rolling around on the floorboard in the back. That's how I like them. I like my AR stacked up 5 deep in the trunk. Like that's how I like my AR stacked.
I should close my eye, put a hand where the passenger's feet go, and find at least 2.
That was the situation, 100%. And it was More so because Scott was in the back seat, and when we got pulled over, he didn't like the fact that there were guns like stuck between the seats, like almost in a drawable position. So he started pulling them out of there and pushing them as far away from himself as he could, which meant the floorboards were full of handguns. And then he's just sitting there like this, like terrified. He never does well under those situations, under the bright lights of police flashlights. But I was just like, no, if I'm not breaking any laws, that's where they're gonna stay. I don't have any kids in here. Like, I like having piles of handguns rolling around.
So I'm like the same way. Like I used to like to keep I had, rifles all in the back, 3 or 4 AKs, whatever. I'm transporting them to from the range. We're doing filming, whatever. And turns out you can't do that in South Carolina. And I realized that now because I was held at gunpoint by police for about 10 minutes at a traffic stop at one point because I got pulled over. I don't even know what I was doing. I didn't know speeding, but I was like, I was in the middle of fuck nowhere, South Carolina. And I get pulled over by Officer Tren. And he just like jacked fucking 55-year-old. And I'm like, yeah, yes, sir. Like I have a concealed carry permit. Yes, I am carrying. I do have guns in the vehicle, like being as compliant as possible. Yeah. And he sees puppy, and he sees he sees one of the guns, I guess, at the floorboard, and immediately draws down and is pointing the gun at my fucking neck. And he's like, don't fucking move, whatever. I have my license in my wallet in my hand. He's like, put your hands on the ceiling. So I'm like, got my hands on the ceiling, whole 9 yards. He's like, I'm waiting for backup to come. I've got 3 or 4 units on the way, blah, 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 and all this shit. And he's like, you make one fucking move. And he's saying all the bad lines. And I'm like trying to joke with him to cool him down because it was like 10 minutes. I was at gunpoint with just this dude. He's saying all the lines. He's like, I don't know who the fuck you are, but I'm going home to my family. I'm like, cool, bud. I would love that. That would be awesome.
You're not like, no, you're not.
We'll see about that.
Know what's coming. You don't know who you pulled over, sir. Like,
oh, you only sent for 3? I sent for 10.
But like, I was making jokes and shit because I'm just like, well, I appreciate your trigger discipline. He's just trying to cool the guy down. Like, hey, I'm not a shithead. Like, I'm trying to go visit my parents. But yeah, a couple officers did show up, and they kind of like figured out what the fuck just happened. And I was kind of like, yeah, homeboy, is he okay? Like, everything okay at home? Well, blah blah blah. And they're like, well, technically, yes, you were violating state law.
Well, his whole family died in a fire 3 years ago. It's like, oh no. He was crazy the whole time.
His whole family had just died in a gunfight yesterday. No, but apparently they had apparently it was against the law the way I was transporting. I was unaware of that. It was perfectly legal in North Carolina. I just crossed state lines, and they're like, yeah, but I kind of could hear it in their voice. It's like, homie should not have pulled his gun on you and kept you at gunpoint this whole time. So we're very sorry. Please get on your way. So I'm like, all right, well, at least that's cool. I'll take it.
So they acted like he was kind of the Spurg of the group. I bet like when they got the call from like Officer Tren, they're like, another guy's being held at gunpoint. We got to go.
Let's hurry up. Let's hope he's alive when we get there.
Oh fuck yeah! Like that's the third one this week. Oh, and his name's Herrera. Fuck.
I'm going back home to my family. Oh, I'm sure you miss your wife Samantha and your daughter Jessica. Just like trying like taking a guess on this. Your head blown off. I was doing a bit. Sorry. As you're dying.
No, I'm not very funny, but comment section tells me all the time.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they can be super jumpy. I get it to some extent, but like I had I think I was in Oregon and got pulled over by a female trooper, and I told her, she asked for my registration or insurance card, I don't remember which, but it was in my glove box, and I was like, my handgun's in there, just so you know. I've got a lot of guns in the car. I was like, I don't even. She's like, how many? I'm like, I don't know. I don't like keep a proper count. Somewhere between 12 and 15, maybe. I really don't know. But yeah, my handgun's in the glove box with my registration. I'm gonna have to reach right next to a gun to give you that. She's like, that's fine. I got one too. Yeah. Like just gave no fucks. Like she got it. Like, that's the kind of calm demeanor that I like appreciate from a cop. Like she was real chill about it.
I find that disclosure is usually the key, because like I find that cops like usually are super chill, especially like small town Southern cops. They're like, as soon as you tell them, they usually have that canned line like, well, as long as you don't touch yours, I won't touch mine.
Sure. Yeah.
Super chill.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all the times I've had real issues with that, I was away from home, like, and it was like Georgia State Patrol or something like that. Because like when I was driving to Florida that time, and I had the gun slap full of cars again that looked funny. I had $30,000 in my passenger seat because I was going to buy a boat, and I had like the car was brand new with like stickers on it again, different car.
30 grand in cash, 12 guns.
Yeah, and I had some scary shit in the back. I think I might have had a M249 in my trunk or something. And so yeah, they were just like, it's a belt-fed machine gun, a saw.
Very cool.
And so they were just like, what happened was a trucker called in and said that I was waving a pistol while I was driving through traffic. Which,
were you?
Of course not. I had my pistol.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I was and I'm just like, I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, did I do anything that could even be perceived that way? Like, did I wave my hand? Did I like fart and I'm like waving it out the window or something? Like what happened here? Like, no, none of that happened. But there was a 9mm sitting flat in the passenger seat, and that's what he saw. He saw a gun in a car seat down below him, and he called the cops on me. And they all showed up with hands-on pistols, not drawn, but maybe they were drawn. I don't remember. I remember they were hands-on guns though. And it was just like, we can call the dog, or you can just let us search. And I'm like, I don't want a dog scratching my new car. They fucking search. Yeah. I got nothing to hide.
The funny part is Karens like that who will do their part to end gun violence and report this guy who's got a gun, and has police go show up and kill somebody.
Yup.
Yeah, often. Yeah.
Task failed successfully.
Well, one more gun owner off the streets. Probably what Karen would think. He was just going to shoot somebody with it anyway. He's just going to murder someone.
Yeah, that shit's annoying.
Because there's an industry for it. Like there's a proper reason to possess those things. Yeah. And then I'm sure there's all sorts of antiquity laws and collection clauses and such over there, so that rich folks can just have their fancy shotguns. I did that fox hunt all the time. Where are those guys getting their guns?
They're just, yeah, you're right. I imagine fox hunting is for very rich people, right?
I would imagine that's how it's always been displayed, because I see those people trying to like break the fox hunt up for the good of the fox. Yes, I do kind of. I don't like when you have an animal captured and then we're going to.
That fox is a notorious rapist. He's known across the fox world.
He can't keep getting away with it.
He's the fucking Harvey Foxstein. He's abusing all of these foxes.
Why would you want to kill a Jewish fox?
Oh God.
Well, he's a molester fox.
Oh.
Look at you with your affirmative action now. Looking at the non-action, huh? Yeah, I don't care for that. No, I think foxes are fine to be killed. What do they bring to the table?
They're cute as fuck.
I mean, they're cute.
Yeah,
they're like little squeaky dogs.
I don't think the foxes they're killing are that cute though. They're kind of ugly foxes, like
right? They're pretty orange foxes, aren't they? Don't they isn't it a trophy to be had once it's over?
Okay, well, if that's what they're doing, I don't really like it, because they're not eating it, right? Really, I guess
nobody eats fox.
I know, but that's my actual opinion on hunting. Is like, I don't give a fuck as long as you're eating it, but when you stop eating it, it's kind of like
you have to eat it.
I'll make an exception to hogs, like, because hogs, especially out here, those are a problem. Like
like, could you eat them if you wanted?
Yeah, and I have. Like, I've done the fox hunt, or it's not fox, excuse me, the hog hunts, where like you'll run dogs, but you kill them with a fucking knife, so you actually have to like pin this thing fucking down and like stab it in the heart. But out here we do like night vision shit and whatnot, like just middle of the night, just go out and it's like pest control because these pigs will fuck up. They'll fuck up crops, livestock. If they get into like neighborhoods, they'll gore dogs. Like, it's pretty rough out here.
I OJ Simpsoned a hog over in Houston one night.
You got away with it.
Yeah, I did get away with it. I sawed its head off with a pocket knife. I jumped on its back. It was super hardcore. Yeah,
chopped its head off with a pocket knife. You're there for 2 hours.
Yeah. No, I didn't take long. I like stabbed it up first. It'd been shot in the leg, to be fair. So we could catch it.
You were hacking at like a hog spine with a.
No, I wasn't trying to take its head off. I saw it from the bottom up until all that was gone, because I didn't know how to kill it, and I was afraid it bit me on the like inner thigh, and when I took my pants off later,
like a little bit, but I had this massive black and blue bruise where it like chomped down on me. This guy was being a bitch. He was the one there to make a video. He was making his Gator show shit, and I was like, you know what, man? You know what Gator would do in a situation like this? He wouldn't use no gun. Gator could go in there hand to snout. And at first he was down, but then as soon as the thing made a noise and sort of like charged a little, and he was like, "Fuck this!" So he noped out. It was lame. That was a fun video, though.
Good for you for being brave, murdering that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How big was the knife?
It was not big enough.
Oh God. Yeah.
It was not big enough. It was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 inch blade.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I could tell this story. So when we went, it was me, Donut, and Scott from Kentucky Ballistics. We all went down to do the same like knife hunt. And when I got mine, you know, it was like 250 pounder or something like that, 250, 300 pounds, something like that. So stabbed it, died pretty quick. Like, cause if you get right in the heart, like under the armpit, it's that nice, good red chunky blood. You can tell you get that arterial blood. So like it bleeds out very quick. And it's, you know, it's relatively speaking, when you're talking about hunting, like pretty quick way to kill the animal.
Yeah.
Cody, when he got to his, yeah. See, it was a big motherfucker. This was like an angry one that they were like, oh yeah, that one. I'm glad we're killing that one. That dude's a piece of shit. Like he's an angry
nickname.
Old man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the guys who were running like the reserve or whatever, like knew that one. They fucking hated him. Like he had taken a shotgun.
El Diablo.
Yeah.
Like they found there was buckshot in his fucking shoulder and those little armor pads when they
scarred veteran
took apart. But yeah, he jumped on there and went to stab it. And I'm recording him too, because like for his video stuff. And he just keeps stabbing it in the same place. And the knife is just barely not long enough to get to the heart. So after like a minute, just him like stabbing this thing, it's squealing. There's blood everywhere. I'm just like with the camera, like, oh,
like a sharpened.
That's what Scott did. That's what Scott did with my camera. I'm still mad about it.
So he prison shanked him like 15 quick stabs with a shallow knife.
It was way more than 15. Like he was sitting there trying to twist and find like something that would bleed. Eventually the fucker died, but like it was it took a little minute. This guy
1,000 cuts.
Quite too angry to die.
Yeah, I didn't know they did that. That's pretty cool. I've heard of people using lances, and I always pictured like a really cool modern spear. Like an 8-foot, 6-foot spear, but going in with a knife is even cooler. Although, usually knives that are meant to, I don't know, kill a pig are what you would think of as like, what do you call that shit that like mall cops use? Like ninja, like that mall. No.
Yeah.
I mean, like the cat, like mall ninja shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, but you'd actually want a knife that was meant to like stab, like a dagger or something, I guess.
Yeah, it was a big ass Bowie knife, like. You know, maybe.
Oh well, never mind.
Long.
Jesus Christ!
You know what you could use for pigs is get one of those shark knives, where you stab and then you hit the button and it like kills it
the CO2 or whatever.
Yeah, you could probably kill the hog very humanely with that.
Or it would just be messy as fuck. You just put it in, it just fucking sprays everywhere, just chunks of pig.
You ever use tannerite on hogs?
No, but I fucking want to.
Yeah, so don't film that part though, because you'd want to spice it up a little bit for them, right. and then you break some rules and stuff, or maybe, but then you can make it real effective against them. I've heard stories of people having a food trough that they've been regularly going to, and then one night that rope that's strung across isn't a rope anymore; it's deck cord. That rope that they've been sticking their heads up under, and it's on the back of all of their necks down a line, is deck cord, and they.
That's rad.
I've heard of
a pretty good idea.
You know when you buy barbed wire, how it comes in a big spool with a hollow center? That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
That's all
At what point we had one of those spools of deck cord that we ran out. We were doing like a demo course or whatever, and we just blew up 500 meters of deck cord in a straight line just to see what would happen.
You can see it.
As it turns out, what happens is you set a lot of grass on fire. That was, we had to do a lot of stomping.
How much does that deck cord actually explode? Like, how close would you have to be standing next to the cord exploding to get hurt?
So we were, okay. Yeah, I'd probably say this. We were taking bets. saying that if you had like a good cup or something like that, and the det cord is laid out on the ground, if you stood over it like an arch like that, you'd
be fine.
Probably be okay.
Oh,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's that, like not strong. Like it would probably be stopped by a plastic cup.
So what it really is it's like an ignition charge for other explosives. So if you're putting like C10 data sheet, C4, Compy, whatever the fuck, pick your poison. It blasting or the det cord explodes at such a velocity that it will set off other high grade explosives. So people use it a lot for that, but it will fuck you up. Like if you're holding det cord while it goes off, your hand is gone.
You can wrap it around and around a thing you want to cut in half.
Yeah.
But it really needs contact with something. I mean, it doesn't need it, but like that'll make it work.
Okay,
but out on the ground, it would provide this really cool visual effect where it burns at some obscene speed. But
if you weren't touching it and you're like holding your hands like this, like a foot away, it wouldn't burn you or anything.
No, not burn you. It's going to spray gravel at you, but not at a speed that's going to go through you or anything.
It's not as scary as I thought it was.
It's not going to kill you.
Small doses, and it comes in different. Like you can get some that's it'll be itty bitty, and then you get the biggest det cord is those mine clearing charges that they shoot across. Right, it's this big rope of shit. They're filling up like old tanks, like T-34s, I think, with that shit. Like 100 meters of that shit that's this big. It's like think the velvet rope at the movies, but det cord. And then they like send it toward the Ukrainian lines on as like a drone, not as a drone, but just go that way, rig it up, and then it's a colossal explosion whenever it goes off.
Just the det cord would blow it up because
the whole thing is it's so. Again, it's like velvet rope big. It's so much explosive. And they didn't just put a little in there. They put as much as a tank was physically capable of holding, along with like bombs, like actual bombs.
Oh, okay.
And then I saw one go off and it looked like you could tell it was different. It was a different kind of explosion. The shockwave would have
a good use of
ruined anybody within 100 meters.
It's like 10 or 20 feet either side. The dirt is just noticeably disturbed.
Or the sound, rather.
I feel like that's a waste of a tank. Like you could do that in a Chevy. You could do that in a van. You could do like the tank. Don't waste a tank on that.
Now you stop a Chevy with small arms.
Yeah.
You stop a Chevy with small arms, and then if you rig a Chevy to go straight in a field, it goes off, it gets stuck. A tank will just go through anything, and they can't stop it unless they hit it with an anti-tank weapon.
Stop a Chevy with big arms.
You can stop a Ford with no weapons at all. It just stops occasionally.
Yeah.
Det cord does?
No. I was joking about Ford. Like my Raptor, my motor just blew up randomly one day. That was really cool.
Oh, no. The 6.0 twin turbo thing?
Yeah, it was. It was only like 60,000 miles on this damn thing, and I was like an hour. I was actually on my way back from drive tanks in Uvalde, and I was in the middle of fucking nowhere on that highway. Like it's like an hour from civilization, and my motor just took a shit on me.
Well, at least it's not Uvalde? A super nice car.
Yeah, it was like an hour from it. Yeah, I had to. I just sat and like fucking reclined my seat and waited to be picked up, and just like, okay, I guess I'll catch up on Narcos.
Catch up on Narcos.
If it were me, like in that particular space, like there are some of them that you just don't want to cover. Like there's no right opinion to even have on some of this stuff. It's like you're just going to alienate 50% of your audience if you even take a side. It's almost better if you're just like.
I never limit myself to just having the correct opinion. I'm wrong half the time at least. I want to talk about that chick, the chick that shot the dude with the taser.
Yeah.
Is there a video of that? I haven't seen it.
There is
but we
video.
Can't watch that shit.
Yeah,
you
can't watch it, but I can. I'll break it down.
Someone being murdered.
Here it is. There's this guy, super skinny dude, and he's doing that thing where he's like not fully complying. Right? The cops have wrist control, and he kind of sits back in the car. He's not like actively swinging and taking some stance or anything, but he's just not like. Putting his hands behind his back. Like this, he's on a resistance scale of 1 to 10. He's giving him like a 3 or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Please.
As someone who's been arrested a few times, there was zero resistance. There was a point where like I instinctively kind of put my hand. They were like, "Are you armed?" And I like opened my coat to show them that no, I'm not armed. And they're like,
"Show them your cool gun."
Yeah. You're goddamn no. I'm like. Absolutely not. Do you want my jacket on or off? And they're like, if you could slip it off carefully. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it real slow, maintaining eye contact with you, sir. I hope you're the first one to shoot if you see a gun. Hey, if you see something, shoot. but I got nothing. Like I'm so compliant.
Yeah.
I'm like, which hand do you want behind my back first? And I'm being like extra flexible because I know what it's like to handcuff somebody. I've handcuffed plenty of people, believe me. It's hard to get them on sometimes. And I'm just like, hey, if you could not lock the joint, that'd be great. I'm not going anywhere. And every time I ask them not to lock the joint, they don't do it. They've been really cool about that. Because like in the movies, you see that chain between handcuffs. That ain't how handcuffs work. They've got this hinge that they can lock so that your hands are just like they don't go anywhere. There's no moving around back there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, every time I've been arrested, like maximum compliance, 10 out of 10. This is not the part where we alpha the 5 guys with handguns.
All right. So this guy isn't exactly alphaing them, but like I said, a 3 out of 10, right? He's just, I think he even like sort of sits down. He's not like jerking himself away, but he's slipping and
back in his own car. He's sitting down, or
I think so. I assume it's his car, and the cops have like wrist control on him, and the cops are kind of like wrestling is an overstatement, but you know they're controlling him. And he's mildly not complying. Meanwhile, this chick, and you can see it on her body cam, is like behind the male cops that are like wrist controlling and sort of like they're about to pull him out of the car and handcuff him and such. And she pulls out what she thinks is her taser. And now she wants to help the boys lock this guy up. She is like a 50-year-old, out of shape, worthless cop. Absolutely worthless. And this is a physical situation. This is a job that involves taking dudes who don't want to comply and making them comply. And she is not qualified for this job because she can't fucking carry the groceries by herself to look at her. Yeah. And she grabs what she thinks is her taser, and she's like, I'm going to tase him. I'm going to tase him. And the cops are still like working on the guy, and then she yells, taser, taser, taser. So they spread clear, kind of like the paddles, you know, at the surgery. They don't want to be touching the guy while she tasers him. Well, she's got her Glock in her hand. She fires a shot into his chest and goes, oh, I shot him.
She says, "Oh, I shot him."
Not again.
This is a pretty good play-by-play. Yeah.
As the guy speeds away, like when she shoots, he speeds off in the car.
I would argue he sped away after the shot and because of the shot.
Yeah, he was probably like,
see it that way too, Brandon? Yeah.
You know what I would do? I would drive away too. I'd be horrified of the woman who mistook a taser for a gun and was firing wildly.
His last words were, "Oh fuck, that wasn't a taser."
Tasers really hurt.
So the way I remember it, she shot him. He's like, "Oh, damn it, they're shooting. I better drive away." He does. Yeah. He doesn't make it very far at all and dies. Yeah. And now there's a question. They're charging her with some kind of manslaughter. I think 2nd-degree manslaughter. And now we're outside of my depth. Yeah. So my friend looked it up, what 2nd-degree manslaughter is. And give me like 15 seconds. I think I can find it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. While you look at that,
I got it.
This, of course, brought up other cases of this happening. And so after we're done talking about this one, I've got a completely different, but exactly the same story to tell.
Another taser mistake. So I did see something, like I haven't seen the clip, but I did see like some stuff floating around online where it's like the weight of a fully loaded Glock is like 3 times that of the taser or something.
It's
something
noticeable.
It's a very
significant also like thing. Bright and yellow.
Taylor, if everything is heavy to this woman, she's worthless as fuck in a physical confrontation.
Yeah, after Woody reads the 3rd-degree thing, I want to talk the difference between a fucking Glock 19 and an X26.
Even the handle on the taser is so little.
All right. Next.
Yeah,
manslaughter in the 2nd degree. A person causes the death of another by the following means is guilty of manslaughter, yada, yada. The first condition, the one that applies here, the person's culpable negligence whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk and consciously takes chances of causing death or great bodily harm. It's the consciously take part that I struggle with, right? Was she negligent? Undeniably, right? This bitch can't do anything right. She whips out a taser or a Glock instead of a taser and actually pulls the trigger and kills somebody.
Yeah.
I just not sure about the consciously takes chance.
All right, so
consciously. Go ahead.
So the 2 weapon systems will come like probably a Glock 19. That's what I see most of these people carrying. I rarely even see a 17, but it's pretty hefty, especially fully loaded, right? You've got 17 rounds in there and probably one in the pipe, or at least 17. I don't know exactly what it weighs off the top of my head. Let's call it 2.25 pounds or something, just making that number up. The grip, the everything about it is noticeably different than an X26 taser. Not only that, an X26 has a safety on it. It's got a thumb safety on the left side. Okay. So like, I'm just putting myself like if you blindfold me and you put both things on the table, instantaneously I know the difference just by feel. And if that doesn't work, I know by weight. And if that doesn't work, I feel a little more, and like everything is different. Even the trigger guard on X26 is kind of this weird thing. On the Glock, it's completely different. Like just the grip texturing, the knurling is completely different. The fact that there's a fucking safety that you would have to disengage before firing your taser should just be like, oh wait, this doesn't have a safety on it. Also, they're usually the way I see cops do it. Obviously, I've never worn a taser. I've used that particular taser before for stuff. I've shot people with it, but they've got their Glock on their right hip, if they're right-handed, and then on a cross draw, they've got the X26. So they got to reach across their belt and draw it from over there. That's how I usually see them wear that system. Hard to get that mixed up. What you have is someone who is, Woody kept pointing out how she's physically unqualified for the job. The real issue here, the failure, is a mental inability to do the job.
Here's why. Let's say that she wasn't a woman. Let's say that she was a little person, right? She was an
actual midget.
Yeah, 3'6" tall.
No. We were talking physical, not mental, Woody. So the fact that she's a woman's irrelevant.
If she was 3'6" tall, then she would have the same problem. She would have to be working through her weapon systems because she was fucking useless.
No, that guy would be alive because her little dwarf finger couldn't reach the trigger.
Yeah, should have shot him in the thigh.
The problem is this solution should have been putting cuffs on a dude, right? And if it's a couple guys, you might get in there and everyone grabs a wrist or an ankle or something. They grab them out of the car. They do whatever it takes. But because she had nothing to offer in that category of police work, she had to fucking start grabbing Glocks off her hip. That was the problem. Like, there should be a physical qualification for a job that involves wrestling criminals. Period.
Also, probably not being colorblind, I think, would help, considering she waved a clear Glock in front of in the video. She's waving it around for like a solid 4 or 5 seconds at least. And I'm like, "Ooh, that's a Glock, honey. That's a Glock. Yeah, that's not. Nope, not taser. Yeah, fuck. Nope, too late."
Yeah, now he's dead because you. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a mixed bag. Like, if she was smarter, then she might have been like, "Oh, the guys are doing the heavy lifting. I'll just stand here and do my easy job." But the whole I got to be, I did my part. I'm doing my part kind of thing. It's like she pulls out her Glock and blows the guy away. Like, yeah, I already saw that she resigned, which is which is basically like, you can't fire me, I quit.
Oh, it's not even that. It was a situation where they called her into the office and they were like, "You've got to go. We don't want to fire you. If you resign, you'll probably get part of your pension or this or that. Like you should resign so that you get these benefits and it looks better on your record." And that's what happened. It's a sweetheart deal.
It was her and her chief, I think, resigned.
Good.
Yeah,
but that's not good enough.
I heard
if
that
that's your brother who's dead, it's like,
I heard he attempted to resign. I don't know what to make of that, but that's how they described him on the news.
So the one thing I think they are doing right, though, is that they're charging her with something reasonable, because what they normally do is this stuff gets political really quickly. They're like, "Oh, we want first-degree murder," and you overcharge. And it's like, well, no, it wasn't. Like, by definition, first-degree murder. Nobody, he didn't break into your house in the middle of the night, tie you up in the basement, and kill you with a chainsaw. It's like, these aren't the same things.
Right.
And then they overcharge, and then they burn a city down when they don't get a conviction. It's like,
that's what happened in the Rodney.
All right, so
mixing it up, but I don't know that they even charged. This might be an overcharge. The consciously take chances of causing death. I'm stuck on it. I don't feel like she consciously made this decision to shoot a guy. She negligent, but
is that what that means? Consciously takes chances of. I never know when I read legal stuff. Yeah, I'm looking at the image.
A good lawyer could argue that she consciously drew a weapon and pointed it at the guy and pulled the trigger.
I considered that angle. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
So this brought to light a different situation. Might have been in Florida. I don't have the details in front of me, but I watched the video a few days ago.
Not another taser mix-up.
Exactly, another taser
Jesus
mix-up.
Christ.
So here are the broad strokes. I won't
We need to make guns heavier, way heavier, apparently.
It was another female, wasn't it?
It was a man. So the situation was they were doing like an undercover sting where they had set up this felon who was wanting to sell guns, and so they've got like the sting car with the hidden cameras in it, and the undercover is buying these guns from this guy, and he's just like, yeah, it's a German Luger, and he's selling this guy this handgun. And then like the rest of the cops start pulling in. This guy gets wise. He jumps out of the car and starts sprinting away. Mm-hmm. I don't think he has the gun on him at this point. I think he's just running. He's like running for his life, and they're chasing after him. And one of the cops involved is some sort of a 70-plus-year-old like reserve resource officer or something like that. I don't even understand exactly.
Retire that man. 70?
Like he's some sort of a reserve. Like he's not even like a full cop. He's like a reserve officer, whatever the fuck that means.
At 70, he should be running for president.
And he's literally like 70.
You beat me to the joke.
He should be leading the free world, not chasing guys on the street.
You gave him a gun. He should have the launch codes.
Yeah, he should have the football.
He looks like the guy from the diabetes commercial. Like he's overweight. Wilford Brimley. Yeah, he looks like Wilford Brimley. Well, they get this guy kind of on the ground, and he's wrestling with him a little bit, and he does the same thing. Taser, taser, taser. Bang! And he even says, he goes, oh no, I shot him. Oh no, I shot him.
She said it too.
Yeah. Oh no, I shot him.
To be fair, as old as he is, he was probably around before electricity was invented. So tasers may be a new concept.
Yeah. I'd try and like act quickly and be like, taser malfunction. This one shot a bullet.
What if he was just like, damn, that taser's got some heft, right, boys? Woo.
Man. So your Google search history includes how do you delete body cam footage?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how many times has this happened?
This is not the second time. These two times are not the only times, because I've seen it a third time. Was it on a
Chicago subway?
Dude, I've seen so many of them. Frankly, they're all jumbled to me.
Dude, I saw one. I think the guy might have already been cuffed. His hands he was on his belly.
That's it.
Yeah. And the cop pulls out what he thinks is a taser, and he pretty much executes him by shooting him like in the head or something with the gun.
Jesus Christ.
It's awful.
It's awful. It's just awful. And
also, you tase him in the head?
As I was saying it, I'm like, maybe the taser thing was just a thing you said.
I'm gonna tag him in the back of both ears.
Because the other ones seem like genuine mistakes. You know, like
remember how you would always see cops go, stop
was incompetent. The woman sold me on her incompetence. I think through and through, she is physically and mentally completely unsuited for this job.
Yeah. You know how cops would, whenever they wanted to beat a suspect, they would yell, "Stop resisting."
Yes.
Like I think whenever a cop wants to shoot a suspect, they yell "taser." Like this is all part of their training. They're like, and remember, guys, if you ever want to just straight up murder someone in the street, just yell "taser, taser, taser" and let them have it. You're in the clear. You're in the clear. Slap on the wrist.
Do you think they actually train? Sorry, Brandon. Do you think they actually train to yell "stop resisting" while beating someone?
Yeah.
Or is it just cultural?
I think it's one of those things where
probably an unspoken thing.
I think it's one of those things where like before a show, sometimes we'll be like, yeah, you need to, if you need to cough, just hit the mute button. And if you need to take an extended break, just kind of send us a private message and, we'll smooth it all over. And also, if you want to beat the shit out of a suspect in the street, just stop resisting. They're going to be flailing a lot because you want to hit the elbows a lot with your baton. Okay. Elbows, shins, they're going to be in so much pain. Of course, they're going to resist.
If you hit them in the head with a baton, they always move their hands. That's a good time to hit
them. It's involuntary.
Yeah. They call Frankie Funny Bones, always tapping the back of elbows, manufacturing fights so he can continue to beat you up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it goes back to what I always say about cops. Cops aren't paid enough, and that's why we have bad cops. if you pay cops $75,000 a year plus benefits, then a whole better class of intelligent individuals who are physically and mentally capable of performing that job at the level it needs to be performed will apply for that job. And all of a sudden, all of these nincompoops will fall by the wayside. They'll be like, how many we got for the recruiting class this year? We have 800 applicants and we're accepting 50. All right, well, we can cut the bottom 750 out, and that's going to include all of your 50-year-old women who can't carry groceries, all your 71-year-old guys who should be leading the free world. It's going to get rid of all of the I love that joke. Secret white power racists who have murder, death, kill written down the barrel of their personal AR that they carry in the back of their car. The guys who carry one of those curved raptor claw blades in their belt so they can I know a cop like that. Look, I have cop buddies. I like them a lot, but dude would show me his gear, I'd show him my gear in the back of my car and he'd be like, let me show you what I got. And in his belt, he has one of those, I don't know what they're called, but the curved blade raptor claw. Little
karambit.
Dude, we got
a karambit or something like that.
Do you remember years ago we were sponsored by that gaming company that sent us these? I use it to open boxes.
Yeah.
We open dog food with ours.
Yeah.
My cop buddy opens.
This thing destroys. Just the best at opening boxes. Yeah. Also. Yeah.
Yeah. My cop buddy carries one of those in his belt. It goes in the belt buckle, and he is ready to pull that out and disembowel a suspect if need be.
We keep ours in the pantry.
He has his AR-15 and 400 rounds of ammunition, and just he's like, yeah, this is my vest and this is my helmet and these are my gloves in case I need to fight. Look at those knuckles. They've got the Kevlar knuckles. You can beat the shit out of somebody and you don't even feel it. And I'm like, yeah, I've got the same ones. Someone sent them to me, but I'm just selling them on the internet, man. I'm not looking to beat people up with them. He's like, oh, I am.
Does that ever give you a feeling of power? And maybe I'm an asshole. I'm open to that idea. But when I carry a gun, I'm just kind of aware of the fact that I'm deadly. My motorcycle gloves have a similar kind of Kevlar knuckle. And it's like, I could hit someone really hard with this. Now, of course, that's probably not the weakest part in my fighting style, but it just feels like, with these knuckles and this gun, I'm 1% tougher than normal.
Do you remember, everybody does that really egregious shooting in Vegas where the guy's like, get on the floor, right hand red, do the dinosaur, just making him do all
the cabbage patch.
Yeah, do the cabbage patch. And then it showed a picture of that guy and it's and here's the gun he used. And it was engraved I'm going to fucking kill you, bitch. Something written on the side like that. And it's that should you shouldn't be allowed to label your guns with little messages like that.
Smile, you're dead with a smiley face. What did his gun say?
It was something
like that. If you're a cop, you shouldn't be able to have get fucked, criminal.
I might have been get fucked.
I really think it was on the dust cover of his AR-15.
Yeah. He's got his desk covered fucking laser engraved get fucked or something like that.
In your personal gun
said, I can, because of my badge, I can kill you and not go to prison.
Pretty much.
I'll get paid leave, bitch. I can do whatever I want because I'm a cop.
Have I ever taken my 50 cal out shooting? Yeah, I think I've told that story before. Guys, are guns Twitch terms of service problems? I think they are, right? I think you can't show a gun on Twitch anymore. LOL Landmark. That's a good point. He shows them. But anyway, I have this 50 cal. And you need to see it. It's so heavy with this big bulky bipod on the front that most men can't shoulder it. I couldn't shoulder it. I've worked out since then. So now I might be able to shoulder it. But I swear if I gave it to 10 people, 3 could do it. And thank you, I'm Kitty Cow, for the sub. I think it might say something. No? Okay. I don't know. It's not on my thing. But anyway, so back on topic. I saw your cheer. I don't want to read it because it was mean, but I read it to myself. Okay, so back on topic. I take this gun and you have to, it comes in a case and the case is 6 feet long. And it's shiny and it's metal, right? Most people have these little plastic cases. This gun came with a metal aluminum briefcase. that when stood up, it's almost as tall as me. And it's heavy. It's heavy. And there's an obvious heft to when you walk it. Ever carry like 5 gallons of gas in one hand? Your whole body's like crooked over and you're trying not to have it bang against your knees. That's what carrying this gun is like in its box. It's a 50 cal. And so I take it out to the table and I unbox it. And at this point, a crowd has gathered around, right? It's this shiny nickel gun with a bipod that probably weighs 11 pounds on the front of it. And it's obviously like a competitive work of art, super shiny nickel gun. And I have this crowd of people watching me, but you don't really have to be a great shooter to own a gun like this. You just have to have $4,000 or whatever the fuck it was. Thank you, Stringer 6. So I don't know the exact kind. It's been a while since I bought it, but I'll ask for permission and try to show it to you guys. Anyway, and I pull it out and I set it up on the bipod, and a crowd gathers around me because there's nobody else like this. It's an outdoor shooting range, but there's like a roof and I don't know, 25 little shooting stations, and I'm at mine, and everybody stops shooting and gathers around to watch me shoot, which is not what I want at all. I don't want any attention. I'm safe to shoot with, but I'm not like special or anything. Like I usually know how to operate my guns, but I don't. This thing's brand new. It's a single shot 50 cal, which I hadn't had before. So I do what I think is right. I put the round in the barrel, and then I put the bolt in the back, and I go to tighten it down, and it doesn't tighten down right. Like something's fucked up. I don't know what the scoop is, but it's happening wrong. And I try to I have to muscle the bolt off to get it out, and the bullet's stuck in there. I have pushed the bullet too far in. If you're a gun person, then you probably know what I did wrong. The bullet goes on the bolt, and then you put it in. You don't put the bullet in, then put the bolt behind it, like every other gun I have. Those guns are different. Anyway, so now I have a 50 cal, this giant fucking 50-pound work of art with a bullet stuck in it, and everybody watching me, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm just toast, and the crowd starts to disperse, but they don't just disperse. They disperse with murmurs of disappointment. Well, that guy, no, he doesn't fucking deserve this gun type of disappointment. And so I'm walking around this outdoor range, finding sticks, shoving sticks down the barrel, trying to push the bullet back out the other side. And it's not working. And I'm taking this gun, this fucking $4,000 work of art gun, and I'm slamming it on my own boots, hoping that the you know how you get ketchup out of a bottle or something. I'm just banging it on my feet, and I'm yeah, right. I'm looking down the barrel at the bullet and shit, but it's I can't fucking get the thing out, and it's the worst experience. And I grab some more twigs and I stuff them in there, and you take a 4-foot-long stick and you jam it against the bullet enough, and then you pull it out and it's a 3-foot-long stick, and you're like, fuck. Now we have two problems, and everybody's watching me incompetently work this gun. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do about it. And yeah, gun owners can be huge assholes. They have no sympathy. They're so judgmental, right? If a gun owner doesn't see you check the chamber on video or something, they judge you hard.
This guy can entertain you about DBD.
DBD? Anyway. So I think I forget if it was the stick shoving down the barrel or the slamming the gun on my foot, but I get the bullet out, and there's a nice gun owner there who's I'm looking at that bolt. It looks like it slides into it, and it's aha, I think you're right, and I shoot it. The scope is not at all lined up with where it shoots, and I'm telling you, I don't know if you fired a rifle before. Fucking anybody can hit something at 50 meters. Anybody. It's not even hard. On your first day, you can hit a bullseye at 50 meters pretty much. Unless you're really scared and you jerk it off target. It's not a difficult distance. at 100 meters, you're probably going to hit it most of the time. But at 50, it's no big deal. Not only am I not hitting the bullseye, I'm not hitting the paper. The whole fucking paper. I don't know. I can't adjust the scope because I can't tell where the bullet went because it's nowhere fucking near where the scope is pointed. And every shot is $6. And like, fuck. So, you shoot $6 and you're like, what just happened? $12. Huh. I don't think it was me that time. $18. All right, this thing is definitely not shooting where I'm pointing it. $24. Did you guys see where it went? Is it high or is it low? $30. And I'm like, does anyone else want to do it? People saying you have to bore sight the scope are right. They are right. I've actually never done that. But what you do, you take the bolt out, and you can see through. Point it so that it's on the bullseye. Just eye it up, right? Get it right. And then adjust the scope so that it's also on the bullseye. And then at least you'll be on the paper to dial it in close. That bore sighting, it doesn't seem very complicated. I don't think I've ever done it. I've never had a gun that was so off target that I didn't hit the paper before. Every gun I've ever laid hands on, like, it just needed adjustment. It didn't need, like, brand new. Oh, they make cartridges that emit a laser out the tip so that the laser runs down the barrel. Oh, that's a neat idea. I didn't even consider that. But you have a cammed Pontiac and you don't want the attention. I understand. Yeah, so you get it. And like, everyone's watching me, and if I were king, I would just, be messing with my new gun in private, figuring it out. So after about $60 worth of rounds, none of them like doing anything right, I let some other people shoot it, and it goes bang. It's super loud. Like, I think 388 Lapua is also really loud. Maybe you gun people can help me get it right. But it actually was tracer ammo, but no, it was daytime, and I just didn't see it. Like, it didn't help me. 338 Lapua. Fuck, I knew I got it wrong. But I'm told, if I remember right, I think it's also really loud. It booms. But a 50 cal booms like nothing else. Everybody else there with their 5.56s and their 30-06s or whatever, they're they just sound like guns. Mine sounds like a cannon. It's a different thing. And it gets attention, and I don't know. Like, part of me doesn't. I guess I really enjoy the gun, but I really hate the attention. And I wish that I could only shoot it in the kind of environments that Kyle often shoots, like at his dad's house, or used to shoot, I guess, at his dad's house, or on his own property or something like that. With friends. He might bring a lady friend and take her shooting or something like that. Would be a great place for my gun. But at a public range where it's a matter of curiosity, it's not as fun. I have never heard of a 375 Super Mag revolver. Can I say the model of? I really can't. It's not common. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go look at it. I'm gonna show you guys this gun. I don't even want to try to fucking shoulder it in front of you. I'm gonna embarrass myself. But I'm gonna show you my gun, and you'll see it's everything I said it was. I didn't exaggerate at all. Hold on. this is the bolt, and you can see trying to show it. The bullet kind of slides in the front here, or in this slot, and I didn't know, so it pushed it too deep by that much. This is the round that it shoots. You can see its tracer. Now they're together. Hold on, I'm a little confused. Oh, I see. So it's a big bullet, right? A desk pop. Okay, the desk pop is funny. But yeah, I don't know. So the bullet, if you don't know, it stops right about where like this cardboard is. And this is all the gunpowder that propels it. There are probably some of you that know more about guns than I do. But the desk pop is fucking hilarious. On PKA a long time ago, Kyle said that he would do a desk pop. And everyone got really excited about the idea. But then Kitty was kind of, I guess, the mature one in the conversation. And she said that it would be bad for Kyle, maybe legally, but without a doubt, like in terms of gun owner reputation in the community, to fire off a gun at his desk. I think it started with him thinking that a couple Cosmo magazines would protect him from a bullet, like a bulletproof vest. He thought it would be cool to make his own bulletproof vest. Now, I had done enough research and I knew that it was a bad idea. It will actually kill you. Bullets go through a lot of magazines. So then his idea was to put wood glue in the magazines and make them more bulletproof. And then he did a little research and shot some magazines, with no one wearing them, and realized this whole idea was a non-starter. Bullets can go through like 6 or 9 inches of paper and shit. Like, it's a terrible idea. But I think that was where the desk pop thing was originated. Now Kyle is like, there aren't many people who know more about weird shit bullets do than Kyle, right? When it comes to like, if you want to know what bullets do to cars, like he knows that sort of thing. But anyway, that's the gun. I hope it lived up to the telling of the story.